Hi y'all, good morning. It is sunrise in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a backwater, secluded creek. It's honestly one of my favorite places on earth just because of how it looks, where it's at. Every time I've ever fished here before, I have this place just exclusively to myself. I don't want to jinx it today. We may be covered up with people now that I've said it, but I've never seen another soul back here. It's just me and you when we fish here together. So we're gonna try a little experiment back here today, y'all. We're going after carp and buffalo, hopefully maybe some buffalo if we're lucky, but we're gonna try a little bait versus bait experiment. Side by side, this creek, let me turn the camera around as these geese are coming. We ain't got this place exclusively to ourselves with the wildlife, by gosh. Here comes the Mighty Ducks Flying V. For those of you old enough to remember the Mighty Ducks back in the day, they heard I was starting a video. They thought they're gonna come wreck this, but anyhow, we're gonna fish this small creek. You can see how wide it is. Not very, but it does have a little bit of depth to it. And normally it's got just a light amount of flow. So what I wanna do, I wanna take two different baits and put them just a few feet apart in this creek so that as carp work up and down through here today, they lock onto the scent. They're gonna have options. They can choose. Right there was a carp right over there. Did you see him? He come up over that tree right there. Okay, so there's some here. That's good news. But what I wanna do is see if they show a preference to one bait or another. So I'm gonna go ahead and get us baited up. I'll show you the baits, talk about all that, my reasoning behind this stupid experiment, if you will. It may not turn out to be stupid though. We may learn something today. I've had a lot of people in recent carp trips requesting this, and so this I feel like is a prime location to do it. Because this creek is so narrow, fish are going to have an opportunity to pick up on the scent of both types of baits and make a choice as to which one they want. So if we see, let's say we catch, I don't know, 10, 12 fish today, and damn near all of them come on one bait, well, we're gonna know that they prefer that bait. If we catch 10 or 12 fish and half come on one and half come on the other, well, we're gonna know it don't make a bit of difference. So here's our different baits. Okay, we've got two almost identical mixtures of pack bait with one major difference. The bag on the left here is breadcrumbs, panko breadcrumbs. The bag on the right is soybean meal, which is a bait I've been playing around with on recent trips. Now you can see, probably just by looking at it there on camera, the difference in the consistency. I've had problems with the soybean meal not packing very well, whereas the breadcrumbs pack excellent. So we've got, in this one, panko breadcrumbs, cream style corn, and strawberry jello, and in this one, soybean meal, cream style corn, and strawberry jello. Same pack bait mixture, with the exception one is crumbs and one is soybean meal. I'm also going to tip the hook with a worm because, well, worms have been paying off big this summer. So we're going to just see. My theory on this, my hypothesis, I guess, if we're being all scientific and crap, you know, this ain't much of a science channel, but you know what I'm trying to say here. But here's my thoughts on this, and I've shared this in some recent videos. My thoughts are that the pack bait mixture itself doesn't matter. I have had probably 100 different recipes from people left in my comment box since I started carp fishing 2 or 3 years ago. And all these people claim that their mixture's the best, it always works, it always catches fish. And I don't deny it. I'm not calling them a liar. But the fact is, I think all of these mixtures catch fish. So I don't think it matters. That's my thought on it. I don't think it matters at all what mixture you use for your pack bait. I think you just got to get it in front of fish. So we're going to try these two baits side by side and see if one of them catches more than the other. And I'm going to try to cast them. And we're probably going to be playing with fire a little bit today, having these things so close together. But we might learn something. And that one I went way farther to the right. I'm gonna have to get better at casting if we're gonna get them close to each other, but not on top of each other. So that was the panko there. I guess that one's gonna be on the right because I meant to cast it there and it got away from me. This could be a disaster. My casting skills aren't very good. This could be the biggest challenge of the day, is getting my daggone casts where they need to go. So let's get this one out of the way. And for those of you wanting to know the amounts, this was 2 cans of breadcrumbs, 1 can of cream style corn, half a box of Jell-O. I took those same panko cans and got 2 cans worth of soybean meal out of I got a 50-pound bag of it there a few weeks ago. 1 can of cream style corn and the other half of the box of Jell-O. So the Jell-O mixture and the corn mixture, and just the overall volume is comparable in these two things. So I mean, it's about as close as we can get to having the same mixture, with just the exception of the main ingredient being different. That's really about it. But the panko, I've talked about this on recent videos, it just packs so much better. It's so much easier to get on the feeders. It don't fall off on the cast like the soybean meal oftentimes does. And so my thought is if we don't see a huge difference in number of fish caught from one to the other, well, why not just use the one that's more convenient to get and easier to cast going forward? I mean, we're going to use that soybean meal for a while, because by gosh, I bought a 50-pound bag of it, and we're going to make use of it. But once it's gone, do I need to buy more? We'll see. And I'll show you, here I've been rambling on about these baits. I didn't show you the rig if you're new to my channel. I've got another bait we're going to cast out, or another rig we're going to cast out behind us here in a little bit. I'll show you then. Okay, so those baits are what? 6 foot? 8 foot apart, maybe? Now, the one on the left here is going to be a little bit more shallow. So this creek, we're inches deep where the kayak's sitting, and it drops off. So the one on the left will be a little bit more shallow. Could that possibly make a difference? Maybe. But this creek is so small, I have to believe those fish are going to be able, especially in the water, it's barely moving. But any scent dispersion we get, those fish are going to be able to find both. I mean, these fish, I mean, they know their environment well. So I got a feeling they're going to be able to figure out where both are at. Now, here's our other rig today. And I'll show you in case you're new to my channel here. If you're a regular viewer, you've heard this, you're sick of hearing it. But this is my carp rig that I like using. It works very well. So these rods, they're the Catfish Sumo original chopstick catfish rods. They're made for catfish, but they're a lighter action catfish rod. They have if you see the tip up there, and I pull this line down, it's very soft. And I find that to be extremely helpful when casting this pack bait. It helps not fling it off the hook or the feeder as easily. So we've got these rods. We've got Daiwa BG 4000 size reels. That's 30-pound Power Pro braid. And that comes down to a small swivel. I've actually got 2 swivels on here, 2 small swivels with a I don't know, that's probably a 4 to 6 inch section of 50-pound braid. And in between those 2 swivels on that 50-pound braid, I've got one of these method feeders, they're called. I got these on Amazon, they're real cheap on there. They make a lot of different kinds. There's a lot of carp companies, carp specialty tackle companies that make them, that I've tried some of theirs. These work extremely well and they're cheap, whereas some of the carp specific ones are much more expensive. So I like these. There's a link down in the video description if you're, I don't remember the exact name of them, but you can click that link there and find out about them. But they're like 10 or 12 pack for 15 bucks. So they're pretty cheap compared to the other ones that are like $4 or $5 a piece from a carp specialty company. But it's coil, wire, you pack your pack bait around that and it holds it in place during the cast. Now after that bait is set there on bottom in the water, it starts to fall off the feeder, creating a little chum pile. The fish come up to the chum pile. They will eat the corn, the breadcrumbs, soybean meal, whatever you got, and then they will get to your hook. Now on this one, I've got this is a number 6 size ESP hook with a hair rig, and I've got a couple pieces of fake corn, this plastic corn on this, and this is pink, the other two are yellow there. But we're gonna put a worm on here. If the worm happens to get eaten off by bluegill, turtles, channel cats, whatever, then we've still got this option here for them to have something else to eat. But them carp come along, buffalo, they're eating your chum pile there. They suck up these fake kernels of corn, or they eat your worm, and then they get the hook too. And so that's how these rigs are kind of set up to work. And we're going to take this, we got these two up front here. This creek is too small for us to throw out a third rod in front of us, so I'm going to throw this one kind of behind us over here, and we might get some fish that are working back out of this creek. And I'm just going to take, on this rod here, I'm going to take the panko, just because it's easier to work with. It's don't make as much of a mess. And I'm going to put it on this feeder, and we'll stick a worm on here too. And we'll just have it behind us today, and hopefully we're going to learn something today. Either confirm what I believe to be true, or maybe we see these two baits side by side and there is truly a clear preference between them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll know here in a few hours. I'm probably going to fish 3 or 4 hours this morning. I'm going to leave the camera running the whole time. We're going raw, uncut today, unedited. Y'all my fishing buddies for the duration. So whatever happens, happens today. We're going to see it all out here. If you're seeing this video, if it got posted, well, we clearly caught some fish. I wouldn't subject you to a skunk trip. I know one thing we're going to get bit with is mosquitoes. I can feel them hitting the back of my neck and my ears and stuff. We're going to be swatting them here first thing. Here's one of my feet. There's something about the fall when it first starts, we start getting some cooler nights, and maybe some of y'all notice this too, but it seems like the mosquitoes get worse. Like, it seems like September, October here in East Tennessee. Oh, dadgummit. Y'all didn't see that. We're gonna redo it. I made a terrible, I can't cast for diddly poo this morning. Okay. I didn't see my worm on there. Of course, I wasn't really looking for it specifically, but I didn't see it on when we reeled that in. I wonder if I didn't knock him off on the cast. It's all right. Even if we did, we still got our fake corn. We'll set that there. That'll be behind us. So now we got 2 rods up front, 1 going behind us, 3, all 3 got worms on them. So hopefully we get us a combination today of carp, buffalo. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some channel cats, although that ain't the target species. The water's shallow enough here, we'll probably have a chance, unfortunately, at some turtles. We just, who knows? We never know what we're gonna get. But again, if you're seeing this, then by gosh, we got something. So I'm just gonna have y'all here in the chest today. Again, y'all my fishing buddies on these trips. Whatever happens, happens. Y'all here to see and experience it all, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, man. That's how these videos go. So I would say we'll sit here and watch a sunrise together this morning, but unfortunately, we're kind of, fortunately and unfortunately, we're kind of shielded from the sun, which will come up on this side. Today it won't matter because the temperature's not going to be miserable, but during the summer months, when I've come out here, it has kind of been nice to be able to have some shade and hide from the sun. I think, and I could be telling a lie here, I think this is the latest in the year that I have ever fished this creek before. Is this rod getting messed with right here? The Panko rod? My line kind of went a little bit slack there. Now I feel like the wind's not blowing. I don't think it's doing that to my line. It's like it got slack and now it's just slowly getting tight again. Y'all may be about to get your first fish. I don't think it's the wind moving my line because the wind ain't blowing at all. This dang skeeter goes by my head. Bring your bug spray. If you're coming with me today, you best grab your bug spray. Maybe I'm imagining stuff, folks. That line's moving right there. Makes me wonder, is he around the chum pile? Does he have it? Just kind of sitting there with it. You know how them buffalo can be. Kind of finicky biters and whatnot. I kind of want to pick up on it and see if there's any weight there. Oh, look at that. It could just be something small messing with the worm too. I'm always, because we're way too early in the video for me to make a fool of myself setting the hook on nothing. I can't help myself. This wouldn't be the first time I made a fool of myself early on in a video. I don't really. No, I don't feel nothing. I'm gonna set it back down and let it be. Y'all imagining stuff, I guess. Y'all need to get your act together here first thing. You done toying with that line over there, trying to get me to make a fool of myself. But I was trying to say, I don't recall ever fishing this creek. No, he's back on it again. I'm not imagining that. Something's after that worm over there. I don't think I've ever fished here this late in the year though. I've done well in this creek. Okay, he's got it now. He's got it now, buddy. I knew I wouldn't imagine that. We had one over there on it. Y'all trying to tell me I've lost my mind. I knew I was seeing what I was seeing. You think I'm delusional or something? I'm hallucinating. I need better friends. Why you tell me such things? We got fish number one here, pretty quick, fast, and in a hurry on this video, man. That's very encouraging. I wasn't sure, having, at least to my memory, I have not fished here this late in the year before. I've done well in the spring months here. This year and last year, and I fished it some in the early summer, and I've had success here. But now, you know, we're into September. September, it's late summer, I guess, technically. We're starting to go through the transition. We're getting a little bit, it's still hot during the day, but we're getting some cooler nights. And, you know, I don't know what to expect here. I'm not a good enough carp fisherman to know what to expect, but this is a carp. And it's fish number 1 here on the panko. Let's get him over here. He fought hard for a second and then just gave up, didn't he? That's unusual. These carp normally, he's probably going to act a fool when we get him in here. That's a pretty solid fish, man. That's a pretty solid fish for fish number 1. Especially for this small of an area here. Like that's, I mean, a fish that size in this small of a creek is pretty daggone awesome. I mean, I think it is to me anyway. Like, I feel like that's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons why I love this creek so much. It's a cool place to fish in my opinion. There, we got that rig out. Let me put y'all up here in the front seat. Y'all take a picture of this fish. I want you to make this fish's day as he's going crazy. Now he wants to show out a little bit. Come here, buddy. Come here. Hey, easy, easy now, easy. Easy peasy, George and Wheezy. He saved all his energy this moment. Now he's going to act out. Hey, easy. Hey, quit it. Lord, this fish went wild, y'all. Not bad, y'all. Fish number 1. Especially for this size of a creek, man. Look at that mosquito buzzing around. I wonder if a fish has ever gotten a mosquito bite. No. I was trying to get you. He was flopping. I was trying to get him over the side of the kayak. He landed in the kayak. Fish, get out of here. Get out of here acting that way. My great-grandma back in the day, she used to educate me on indoor behavior and outdoor behavior. And if I got them confused, I'd have to go outside and pick my own hickory switch. That fish right there needs its own hickory switch. If my great-grandma had gotten a hold of that thing, she'd have tanned his hide. Fish number 1 a few minutes in, man. That's awesome, y'all. Okay, that one was on the panko. Now, I saw one during our little intro spiel. I saw one had come up over there. I wonder if it was the same fish. Or if we got more potentially in here. Again, this creek in the spring and in the early summer months has done well for me, but I don't recall fishing here this late in the year in years past. I just don't have enough experience carp fishing to really know yet where fish are going to be and when. So I'm still just, I'm pretty ignorant on a lot of this stuff. But we're trying it today. I wanted to come up here today, and I'm filming this on a weekend. It's a Tennessee football home weekend game, and so I know we got what's called the Vol Navy. It's a bunch of rich people, more money than brains. They got these giant boats, way too big for our river, and they go up and down the river on game day weekends. They go up there starting about Friday, and most of the day Saturday you'll have these houseboats going upriver to the stadium, and then after the game and all day on Sunday they'll be coming back downriver. And so I have no desire to be fishing out anywhere near the main channel of the river. I ain't fooling with them people. And so you come into a place like this, kind of in the middle of nowhere, boats like that, they obviously can't access it. Oh, I just dropped my, boy, we about done it. Dropped our dang rod and reel in the water there. I swear I can't take you nowhere. You can't even keep your rod and reel inside the kayak. Now we got our line wrapped around the daggone rod tip. Folks, you need to get your act together this morning. I know it's early, but Lord Almighty, you causing a problem for us here. Okay. We got that back out, folks. Those of you keeping score at home, that's 1 panko, 0 on the soybean meal so far. 1-0 is the score. Yeah, them Vol Navy people will be ruining the day for everybody out on the main channel, and so I ain't fooling with it. So I'm coming back up in here in this creek, and they're obviously not coming back up in here. They wouldn't even try. The casual fishermen, bass fishermen, etc., they might could get back up in here, but this creek, you can see it's real narrow right here, right? And it's kind of a, you know, it's a creek. It's got some depth in places, but other places not so much. And oh, there was another fish over there, just come up. I had to, coming up through here, there's some tight areas and some really shallow areas to get to this area here where it kind of opens up as far as depth goes. A bass boat, it ain't impossible, but boy, they're gonna have a hard time. And so, I've knock on wood, I've never seen a bass boat or recreational fisherman when I've fished here before. I've always had the place to myself. As far as like other kayakers, canoes, just recreational people, this creek is a long ways from where I launched at. Now, there could be people that live on this section of the river that, you know, maybe have kayaks or canoes or something by their lake house. Maybe they could come up in here, but from where I launched at, having to make the run I did with the motor, a normal person, average person paddling, they're not getting up in here. So we kind of, it's a good spot as far as just having some privacy and the place to yourself, which when I go fishing, I want to be left the hell alone. And I think it's just, and this is just my opinion, but I think it's one of the coolest places that I fish. I mean, I really like fishing here. Just from how it looks. This creek, it looks awesome other than the mosquitoes, which are on me again, by gosh. But you got all this grass over here, which I'm always worried about snakes coming out of. But this, the trees, you know, coming up through here first thing, you still had a little fog out here. It looks cool. It's just a cool looking spot. And personally, I take a lot of satisfaction when soybean meal rod. Here we go. Something's after it. So I'm swatting mosquitoes. Y'all get them dang mosquitoes for me, would you? Something had that line bouncing around. Oh, it's slack. Has he got it? The line's still slack. We got him. We got something, by gosh. Here's one on the soybean meal. This ain't what we want. This is a danged old channel cat. We didn't come out here to catch these. I told you to tell these channel cats, leave us alone is what it's. Okay. A little tree branch falling there. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did it make a sound? We were here to hear it today, so it did make a sound today. Come on, channel cat. We ain't after you. You and your friends can leave us alone. I don't care what rod you're after. I don't want you. This one don't count. And we have lately caught what seems like more catfish. And I just kind of thought, well, maybe they're just being in the creeks. Is it possible that the soybean meal is bringing in more catfish? Is that, I mean, it could be. Maybe the soybean meal is obviously higher in protein than what the panko is going to be. So maybe that's kind of drawing in the cats more. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. I fully admit I don't know. We're gonna reuse that worm since he left it on there. Oh my goodness, the dang skeeters. I should have wore, oh, look right here, look right here. Oh my goodness. He hit it. Let's just reel that one in too. We gotta take a look, see if we got our, yeah, and got our worm and our bait and everything. Let's just rebait them both. I should have wore boots today though, I tell you that. You should have told me before I left the house wearing flip-flops, even though temperature appropriate to do it this morning. Stupid idea. Because for whatever reason, the mosquitoes, when we hit September, I mean, mosquitoes are bad in East Tennessee from spring through fall. Like if I go outside, I'm gonna get eat up, especially early morning and evening right before dark. Like I'm gonna get some mosquito bites. But there's something about September, early October, when we're getting into fall a little bit, like the mosquitoes just, it's like they start feeding up for winter or something. I don't know. But it's awful. I get eaten alive. I was fishing a tournament, it was a bass tournament. A year, 2, 3 years ago, I don't remember the exact year of it, but it was in the fall. Man, I remember it was like the worst day of mosquitoes that I had ever experienced. I could not keep them off of me. You'd have thought by now I'd have learned. Wear me some boots, but I'm hanging on to flip-flop weather as long as I possibly can, folks. We get into fall, which means it won't be long till winter will be coming, and y'all have got your hair rig here tied in a daggone knot. We got fish to catch, and look what you's doing. You tying knot. Y'all sabotage me. I swear y'all sabotage me on these trips. This stuff wouldn't happen if we wasn't filming. That's a lie. It actually does happen. It happens all the time, unfortunately. I feel like every time I leave the house, something silly's gonna happen. I damn near died coming out here this morning. Come around a curve, and this fella or woman, I don't know who it was, driving like James Bond on the other side of the road, damn near hit me head on. I guess in a way I was kind of lucky that I didn't get hit, so I guess that's the positive way to look at it. I didn't die. And then I got to the place I launched at. Here's how you know you're at the right place to get lucky. The place I launched at today, there was 2 used condoms on the ground. Not 1, but 2. I don't know if it's the same person or different people, but we know people are getting lucky in this area. That's a fact. You see 2 used condoms on the ground, buddy, you know there's some action going on. May not be the particular kind of action we're after today, but it's action nonetheless. Somebody's had them a good time. Oh, whoa, we got another fish on. Let me get this worm on here. Let me finish threading it on. Okay. Fish. This is on the soybean meal. This panko ain't getting a fair chance here because this one got hit before we could get the other one back out. I think though, oh my gosh, it's another channel cat or a small blue. That's actually a small blue, I think. No, I can't tell right there. Here's what I can tell though. I can tell we're about to cast this back out before we land that thing. Okay, get that out. we're going to reset our poles here, my anchor poles. I work them loose with all that shifting of my weight. Yeah, it's a channel cat. Another daggone channel cat. We know these things are in here thick, apparently. Can I have my hook back, please and thank you, Channel Kitty. That one did not give us the worm. Okay, well, back to the soybean meal. Technically, the soybean meal, even though we have caught 2 fish, we are still technically skunked with it. I just don't count them. Yeah, people ask me all the time, no matter how many times I address it. I will get, oh, well, look right here, look right here. Oh, buddy. Well, we're on some fish right here, man. How about this, folks? I don't know what this one is yet. I'm going to assume probably another channel cat, though. We'll see here in a second. Man, boy, regardless of what's biting, there's some fish in here for this small of a creek, buddy. There are some fish in here right now. Yeah, it's another cat. This one's a little bigger. Dang old channel kitty. Meanwhile, the back rod hasn't gotten hit though. Ain't that something? Yeah, that's another channel cat. All right, well, let's set him back in the rod holder. Now let's finish getting our soybean meal on here. Man, that's something though. We're getting action. I find it incredibly rewarding to be able to catch fish in these small places like this. I mean, you can go catch a fish out of a small pond, right? And like that's fun, but you know, those fish were stocked there. You come to a small creek like this, places like this, man, these fish, they've worked out of the main channel of the river to get back here. And some of the creeks that you go to, there's nothing there. Like it's devoid of fish. And others, you find, kind of like what we've experienced out here with this one, not only today, but in times past when we fished it, some creeks like this one here, they produce fish. And it's weird to me how some do and, well, some don't. This here is another danged old channel though. All right, we've had our fill of channel cats. This is, enough's enough here, these channels. Old, ugly old thing. He's trying to poop on us too. Did you see that? He's trying to poop on us. You know, people ask me though about them channel cats all the time. Well, Justin, why do you hate channel cats? Because all the channel cats here in East Tennessee are that size. Like they're small. They just steal your bait. We're out here I'm trying to catch a carp and a buffalo today, and these channel cats impeding progress. If we was catfishing, they'd be chewing up our cut bait. Like you just can't keep them off your hook sometimes. Now, you go somewhere that grows big channel cats, like when I've went up to Sandusky Bay. I will admit, oh, y'all botched that one. I think that might have been a carp. Oh, here we go on this one now. Man, we're getting eat up. We're getting eat up, y'all. We're getting as many fish bites right now as we are mosquito bites. Okay, this is a carp right here. This is more what we have. This one's on the rod behind us. We don't have a single rod out right now. I can't get anything baited. If y'all was a fishing partner worth a damn, you'd be baiting these other rods while I'm working on this fish. I can't get yous to do nothing. Yins won't help me out for nothing, man. I think some of you just come along here to watch me make a fool of myself. Listen to my endless stories about the shenanigans that go on in my own life, which I got some of those stories to tell you today too. There's some stuff, some developments happening. We got fish to catch right now though. Let's stick him right there. I'm in the process here trying to bait y'all's rods. Let's stick some. I may have should brought more bait. I mixed half as much as what I would normally mix in each bag, so that in theory you would have the normal amount I would mix if I was just, making one bag of it. So hopefully, if we run out of bait though, it means we've caught a lot of fish. That's a good thing. Let's throw that one back over there. Right now, it don't seem to matter what bait you're throwing out. If it's out there, it's gonna catch fish. I gotta set my poles again, dadgummit. My anchor poles are struggling with all my shifting my weight. I guess I'm getting fat, y'all. That's what my seat in my other kayak told me when the bottom of it fell out the other day. I'll tell you about that too. Boy, that's gonna be a hell of a story to tell you. I'll tell you about my attempt to fix my seat. I should have filmed myself trying to fix that damn thing. There's a lot of cuss words said though during that process. Okay. Look at this. Here's what I don't like about the soybean meal. See all that mess on my hands? That don't happen with the panko as much. It's just a cleaner bait to work with. Not that it's a big deal to get soybean meal over your hands, but it makes a mess. It ends up in the floor of the kayak, which then ends up drawing ants when it's parked there at the house, and gets mold all over everything. All right, let's get this one cast back out. All right, for the time being, we got those two back out. We may, if it keeps up like this, we ain't gonna be able to fish with 3 rods. We're gonna have to go down to 2. Okay, come here, fish. You ought to be about tuckered out by now. You should be. Well, folks, carp number 2. That's another. I mean, for the size of this creek, y'all, again, it's just rewarding. If you go fish a pond this size, sure, you can catch fish and have fun, but those fish were stocked in there. Finding a place like this where fish have moved in here on their own, and you're able to catch fish this size, and of course, we've pulled out some bigger ones than this, and do it in such a small area, I just find it incredibly rewarding. I want to get some baits back out, so I'm gonna just hold this one out here in front of the camera this way. Smaller than the first carp for sure, but again, to catch fish like that in a place like this, I just find it rewarding, man. I find it fun. I like being in these secluded, just beautiful places like this, and to be able to catch fish on top of just being in nature like this, I guess, if you will. Like, it's just, I mean, I just enjoy it. This kind of thing's fun to me. Hopefully, y'all find it fun too. If you don't, boy, you're in for a bad time on this video, because it ain't gonna get no better. For dang sure ain't gonna get no better, folks. I'm gonna put the panko back on this one just because it's easier to work with, and this will be the one behind us anyway, so it won't really be part of our experiment per se. I mean, sure, fish that are working back out of this creek will be coming to this bait first, but I think I wanted to put the two baits side by side in front of us because the current flows that way. So any fish working up in here that might pick up on the scent of those baits would have the option between those two. Behind us here, this rod, I feel like fish, they probably got to be swimming this way and come across this bait since the current's going the opposite direction. So that's my rationale, for better or worse. All right. Well, for the first time in a little while, I think we've got all 3 lines back out. Boy, we're off to a good start, man. It don't always work out. And y'all, some of my carp videos, you've been a part of them, you've seen them, regular viewers, like, sometimes it takes a while to get a bite going. And I always worry, and maybe I shouldn't, but I always worry, like, you take a place like this where it's so narrow, and I come from this direction. To get here, to set up, I had to go right over the top of any fish that were in this creek. And some people say, well, it don't matter, you know, they don't care, but I beg to differ, because how many times, and maybe some of y'all seen this too, you in shallow water and you motoring along, or you paddling your kayak, whatever, and you spook fish. And you'll feel them hit the bottom of your kayak because you went right over top of them and you spooked them and they run. Or maybe you see them. You see the mud trails where they bolt and kick up some mud. Like, you know, I do think you spook them a little bit. And I think more so when you can be a lot quieter when you've got a paddle. You know, you can be careful about how your paddle blade enters the water when you're paddling your kayak, but when you are pedaling or when you are in a motorized kayak like I am today, you're making some noise. So far today, it don't seem to matter because we're catching them real fast, and I think something on this middle rod right here. My line jumped a couple times. Something was over there by it. But yeah, man, I mean, you gotta admit, a place like this is pretty cool. I mean, you could talk me into coming here once a week to fish. You know, I don't want to do that for video purposes. Obviously, I want to try to mix it up a little bit, but I knew when I had a lot of people wanting me to do this kind of side-by-side bait. Oh, here we go. Oh, he just dropped it too. Dang. Should we reel in and see if our worm's on there, or should we leave it a minute? I want to leave it a minute. Because even if he did get the worm, our fake corn's still on there. It ain't been out there long enough for him to eat all of that chum pile from the pack bait. What's on my camera? Do y'all have, oh hell, y'all got watermarks all over you. Boy, holla at a playa. There we go, man, maybe y'all can see. But yeah, a place like this, like you could talk me into coming here once a week. Video purposes, I like to move around a little bit and mix things up, but just as a place to come and hang out, just a cool place to be. Like, I could be talked into coming here all the time, but I don't think I've ever come here this late in the year. I think it's always been spring and early summer. But clearly, I need to add this to my fall places to fish, because there are clearly some in here. And I thought maybe with us having some cooler nighttime temperatures, these backwaters are going to start to cool off, and that might get some fish on the move up in these places. So we'll see, but I feel like we're off to a pretty good start here first thing. We can just get a little bit later in the morning, maybe get rid of some of these mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are just, my feet are going to be tore up. Middle rod again. Is that another channel cat? Has he got it? I think he's got it, folks. I think we might have another. If this is, no? I don't know what this is. Oh, back rod. Back rod's got something. We got a bluegill. No, that's a yellow bass. Boy, it's your lucky day, yellow bass, because I ain't keeping nothing for bait today, but that right there would be a good live bait size if I had a bait bucket. Oh, yellow bass, got him a worm. Well, that let us know that the worm is still on there. Get my hair rig undone. And I've got a bunch of these tied up already with the hair rigs I buy pre-tied. I think that fish there come off. But I've already got them, like the corn and everything already on them already in my hatch there. But when we go through those, which will take, well, I've got enough of them already ready to go. It'll probably be end of next year before I get through them. But after that, I may do away with the plastic corn and just do a regular hook and a worm. I may, because I really believe you just need something to get the fish stirred up and feeding, and something on that hook. And I really don't think it makes a lot of difference. The worms do well for everything. Carp, buffalo, these bycatches. We've caught bluegill, not today, but I mean in past trips we've got bluegill with the worm. Now we got the yellow bass. Unfortunately, we do hook a few turtles doing it too, but I mean everything's gonna eat a worm. Catfish, blues, channels. Whereas the plastic corn, when I've just used it, you get mostly carp and an occasional buffalo. Definitely more buffalo with the worms though. And ironically, I'm gonna pick up, we'll see what we got here, see if this thing got our worm. It was a pretty good takedown. Yeah, that one got our worm. Ironically, I started using the soybean meal because of people telling me how great it was for the buffalo. And I have yet to catch a buffalo since I started using it. Now, I've been informed in the comment box. People love calling out my ignorance. But this person was nice about it, and he said, Justin, this time of year, buffalo going to be out in the main lake. And I see them out there first thing in the morning. I see carp and buffalo coming up on the surface there, and they come up and splash, and I don't know why they do that, but they do it, and you see it a lot first thing in the morning. But here's my counter argument to that guy. How many trips now have you and I fished together since we started using the soybean meal where we saw where we were fishing at buffalo come up on the surface right in front? Oh, speaking of coming up right here, here goes this rod. I think it's another channel though. Boy, these channel cats, buddy, they're in here thick today. And we're giving them exactly what they want in this worm. We may have to ditch the worm today to avoid the channel cats. If we want to catch a carp, we may have to stick with the plastic baits. Actually, I think this is a blue. A dink, but it's a blue nonetheless. On the soybean meal. Let me get a hold of you, fish. Come in here now. There's another skeeter's flying around. This mosquito, boy, they don't miss an opportunity. When your hands are tied up and you can't swat at them, here they come. I don't know, y'all. I got a lot of thoughts about it and stuff as far as I want to keep things as simple and easy as possible. And I want to have a chance at catching both carp and buffalo. Oh, what I was going to say, my counter argument to that guy saying most of the buffalo out in the main channel, I'm sure most of them are. But we've literally seen buffalo coming up right in front of our baits where we've cast. Like you can see them like visibly coming up. Like they're there. There's been some, may not be a bunch of them where we've been fishing, but there have been some, and yet we still can't catch them. Like they're just, for whatever reason, not biting what we're throwing down. And so, if this soybean meal was God's gift to buffalo, and there's buffalo right in front of where we're casting, then they should be eating it. That's my thoughts on it. Could be totally off base, but that's my thoughts on it. But ultimately, what I want to get to is a point in time where I can just go on the water with a bait and setup that is as simple and as minimalistic as possible and have a reasonable expectation of doing well that day on both numbers and size of fish. That's what I want. And with me carp fishing, like I'm not necessarily looking for just trophy class fish. If I did, I would probably be out in the main channel somewhere, probably just fishing a lot of the places that you would see me fish for catfish, your deeper points, creek mouths, humps, places like that I would imagine that carp use just like all other species of fish use. But I like doing my carp fishing in places like this, secluded, isolated places that I can have an area to myself. And oftentimes these places are full of fish. Now, they may not be trophy-sized fish. They may not be the biggest carp in the river in places like this, but there is enough fish to keep you entertained usually, and they are big enough, especially on the tackle that I use, that you can have a damn good time with them. And so I want to just have a setup that is simple and reliable to target these fish. And with what I've been doing the last year or so, the last 2 years with the panko and corn and jello setup, like it has been very effective and it's worked. But this year I wanted to play around, experiment more to see if we could kind of dial it in more for the buffalo, to try to get a bait where we could catch not only the carp but the buffalo too in good numbers. And thus far I'm just not sold on the soybean meal. I've had some really good quality carp in recent trips. Like, I mean, the quality, since I started using soybean meal, has been really good. But I think, again, I think that's just more of the fact that there's been some better quality fish where I've been fishing. I don't think they would have just snubbed their nose at the Panko if I'd had it with me that particular day. So that's my rambling thoughts. Again, I am not an expert on carp fishing. You'll never see me win a carp tournament or anything. I don't even know if they have carp tournaments. They probably do somewhere. I know they do in them stupid pay lakes, because people talk about them in my comment box all the time. Wish they'd shut them things down. But, you know, I don't claim to be a world-class carp fisherman, probably never will be, but I am a type of person that can go out and catch a few and have a damn good time doing it. And that's what I want to be able to do, as simple and minimal as possible. Although my kayak setup is pretty, it's more, there's more junk on my kayak for carp fishing than anything else. Bear with me as I trying to swat mosquitoes here. There's probably, just because of my anchor poles and me carrying the net, things like that, like I've got some gear on this kayak for, oh, middle rod. Something tugged it. But it takes some gear to do the carp fishing. At least for how I want to do it. Now, we could pull the kayak up here in this grass right here, for instance, and get far enough back there that we might eventually get some solid footing. But it's still warm enough that there's snakes around, and I ain't walking up there in that. Plus, we'd be covered in ticks when we got out too. I ain't doing it. So I'm gonna just plunk down the extra cash here and have me these daggone poles where I can be out in the water a little bit. But it is an extra hassle and expense having these things. But it keeps the kayak still, at least in these creek areas. I've talked about how you don't dare use them out in the main channel when you're getting pounded with boat wake. You're in for a disaster. You're in for a show if you try anchoring down in the main channel, where you go, especially a day like today where you have all them Vol Navy people going up and down. I wouldn't want to be out there with them poles and that. I'm gonna tell Catfish Sumo, they sell my hats there. I'm gonna tell them to remarket these things as mosquito swatters. Y'all, I guess the advantage of y'all fishing with me through the video on these things is you don't have to get the mosquito bites that I'm getting. I'm gonna be eat up today, man. But we keep catching fish like we are, it's gonna be worth it. We're gonna have a good time out here this morning. Now tomorrow, I'm gonna take my other kayak out, try out my sea. Let me tell you that story. So the last video, well, let me tell you this first. So the last video I was catfishing for regular viewers. And I had bait left over, and my plan was I had this lady I'd hired. She operates this machine like a bobcat, like a forcer head. She had come and cleared some brush for me, and she was coming back, smooth it all up, get it ready to be sowed for grass, and she's gonna fix my driveway and everything. And so she was coming. And then the next day I was gonna go catfish, film another catfish video. That's what I told people was gonna happen there in the last video. Well, that lady come, she did a good job, man. Excellent job. I can't speak highly enough of her. She got my land looking good. She got my driveway fixed. It's amazing. So I go out the day after she left there, I go out, I still got a bunch of bait. I'm gonna go catfishing. I get to the water, get out where I'm going, and I'm getting my camera and everything set up, and I'll be damned if I ain't got a problem with my battery pack. So I spent 5 minutes trying to tinker with that, and I finally give up on it, pulled out my other one, because I've learned you're gonna do this YouTube crap, you better have 2 of everything. Because your camera, there's gonna be a time where your camera's gonna fail, your microphone's gonna fail, battery's gonna fail, something's gonna go wrong, so you need to be prepared for that. So I carry 2 of everything. So I get that mess sorted out, I start fishing. Turn the camera on, I'm talking, you know, and explain what we're doing. And the bite on the catfish lately has been real good dragging. That's what I've been catching fish on, is dragging. Not been doing very good anchoring, not been very good doing good suspending, but trolling, dragging baits, been catching a lot of fish. So that's what I was gonna do that day. Well, I turned the camera on, I'm talking, I'm showing my baits, I'm letting out line on my dragging rigs, get my suspended rod out. I flipped my bail over, closed my bail on the first dragging rod. Oh, here we go. Oh, buddy, he's running. This is what we want right here. Oh, he's over there right against the bank too, man. He's gonna get us wrapped up in something. There's all kinds of debris over there. Come over here, fish, swim this way. Oh, he's all wrapped up in something. He's right over there against the daggone shoreline. Oh, do not go under that tree. Oh, he wrapped me up solid then. He's still on, I feel him. He needs to turn back right and come this way. That fish ran the wrong way. I'm trying to put pressure on him. Tried to get him to turn back. He just come off. He didn't think we got our rig back though. He just come off. I don't think he broke us off. No, hook's still good. He pulled off. He was behind that log over there. We got lucky he didn't wrap us around it. Dang, fish went the wrong way. That's a challenge fishing places like this. Is if the fish, if they swim the wrong direction, buddy, you're wrapped up, you're in trouble. That one there, he had us dead to rights. If he had took one lap around that tree, we'd have lost the whole rig. He didn't get the worm though, and he didn't bend the hook, so we got lucky. We didn't get as lucky as the person in the parking lot of where I launched at, because they got lucky twice apparently from the used condoms on the ground, but we did get a little lucky with that. Throw that back over there. Well, that was a carp though. That was what we're after. Yeah, so anyway, I'm out there. I've started the video. I've baited the hooks. I've let my dragging lines out as I'm moving forward, get my suspended line done. And I turned the bail over on the first dragging rig I'd let out, and I am instantly hung. I must have dropped it right into a snag. And I'm like hung to the point I can't get out. I got to reel my other lines in, turn around, and go back. Of course, I'm saying cuss words, you know, because like, I hate getting hung anyway, but especially right off the get-go. And I was still upset because I was pissy because my battery pack messing up, malfunctioning. So I was like, you know, I just let out like a whole slew of cuss words right at the beginning of the video. So I start over, right? I get my rig done. I take a few deep breaths, you know, the Frank Costanza, serenity now. Cool off a second. Start the video again. Letting out my lines, I'm on the move, get my suspended line out. I flip the bail over, I start pulling. Within 2 minutes, I'm hung again. I said, I quit. I'm done trying to film. I woke up that day anyway, just not really I was in the mood to fish, but I wasn't really in the mood to film. Like I didn't want to talk that day. I'd been exposed to too many people. I'd had to talk to my neighbor the day before, and you know, I was at my capacity for people for the week. And my back line here, look at this. My back line is slack. Have I got another fish on here? It's completely slack. We've got a fish, buddy. Watch this, watch this. He hit it and come toward us. We just cast that thing back out just a second ago. This is a channel cat though, or blue. This ain't what we want. These daggone channel cats. I actually think this may be a blue. Yeah, it's a small dink blue here. They just, man, there's so many dang catfish up in here. We can't get our carp a chance to see the bait before they're on it. Let me see it, fish. Let me get it out of you. Hold on, fish. Hold on. Boy, I think that fish got hooked twice. I think it went through the mouth and then come back out and went through the other side. There we go. Get out of here, blue cat. You ain't the star of this show today. This may be the Kayak Catfish channel, but we ain't after catfish today. But yeah, so I wasn't really in the mood to film, but I was going to do it anyway. David Goggins style. You know, stay hard. You gotta just push through stuff you don't want to do. Just push through. I didn't want to film that day, but I wanted to go fishing. I was going out there. But by the time I'd had the battery malfunction and then started the video twice and just can't move through that area. It was a new area. I hadn't ever dragged baits through there before. I had never fished there at all before. It's a brand new area to me. Apparently it just ain't the place to try to drag because it's just too many snags. I just said hell with it. I ain't fooling with it. So anyway, so been a few days. I took a couple days off, get some more stuff done around the house. That woman though, man, I'd hired this woman. She's got a bobcat and some other heavy machinery, and she come and cleared some brush at my house, and man, she did a great job. I mean, smoothed everything. Like it went from being brush that was 8-10 foot tall, blackberries, small trees, kudzu, just everything just overgrown. She got all that gone, ground level. The bigger rocks are gone, the stumps are gone. Like, I mean, she got it perfect. So now all I gotta do is have my fence expanded around that area and sow grass, and like it's good. And she fixed my drive, like she did phenomenal. But I had some other stuff around the house. I've been little projects and whatnot I've been working on too, and so I got those done. And today I was like, man, I want to go carp fishing. I want to do that bait challenge and see what's going on, and with that, and just, you know, have a little fun with the carp today. And so that's what we out here do. Oh, but where I was going with that initially, that story, I was going to tell you about my seat on my other kayak. What an experience this has been. Hold on though, I may have to pause that story because this line's slack. Have we got a fish on here? No, something must have hit me because we were slack. So my Old Town kayak, my pedal kayak, and that, I've told you all this before, but that's my favorite kayak of all time. Like, I've had more fun fishing out of that kayak because it's a smaller platform, so when you hook a big fish, it's going to tow you around. It's a good time, man. It's a lot of fun to catch big fish in that kayak. But while it is a smaller kayak than what I'm in now, and it's much smaller than the kayak that I'm going to be moving on to after this one here, it's still stable enough that I can stand up. The seat sets up higher so it don't kill me to set in it for a few hours. Like, you know, it's my favorite kayak of all time. But I'm fishing there the other day. I was out making a bait run. I'm fishing along, I'm pedaling, and all of a sudden, the seat material just falls out from under me. Like my butt just falls through the seat. Like, you gotta be kidding me. What's going on? Oh, fish. He's making a run. This is a soybean meal. I think this is a carp. This is a carp here for sure. The cat ain't making this run. He's still going. He's over there on the bank. Take a left, fish. Take a left. The other left. This fish don't know right and left. He needs to come this way so we don't have a repeat of the last fish. And I don't want him getting out of the line over there. Oh, I think he's got me in something. Oh. He does. I feel it rubbing the line. Like he's got me in something there. I hope he comes out of it. When he ran to that other shoreline, I guarantee he ran across some wood. This side over here is fairly clean because it's just grass right here. But that other side where all the trees are over there, branches fall in and whatnot. He's still on. There he come. There he come out of it. We got him. Oh, we got lucky. Not as lucky as the person in the parking lot where I launched, but by gosh, lucky nonetheless. He's in this other line, but I'm okay with it. No? Is he in this? Okay. Okay. He's out of it. We're gonna have to reel that other one in though. He's knocked so much slack in it. Probably move that line. I still ain't got a look at this thing. Oh, that looks like a pretty good one. It's a carp. It's a common. Come on this other side over here. Would you fish? Can I steer you around the motor? Is that possible? Yes, I can. I'm a man of many talents, folks. There he is, got him. Oh man, what a battle this fish was. Hell of a takedown. Wrapped us around a tree, got another line. We still got it done. I'll give you some front camera time for your performance, fish. You've outdone yourself today. You have done it, fish. I'll fist pump that one, y'all. Man, that's something. This is fun. You ought to be wore out, fish. You put on a hell of a show. Let's hold you up there. You know, not the biggest carp in the world, but this is what? Somewhere between 5 and 10 pounds, probably. I mean, that's a solid fish, and again, there's such a small area here. You know, in a place like this, to get a fish this size, that's pretty daggone awesome if you're asking me. He don't think it's awesome right now. Get on out of here. He's got a bad attitude. He ain't as happy to see me as I am to see him. But I'm pretty happy about it. We're getting some fish here, y'all. Like this has been a productive morning so far. I mean, carp, obviously, you know, the catfish have kind of plagued us a little bit, but I mean, we've gotten several, we were getting bit right off the bat. And getting these, it's exceeded my expectations this morning. Now the whole bait challenge thing, it kind of seems to be going the way I thought it would go, and that one bait's not really making a difference over the others. maybe the soybean meal is drawing a few more cats in. But as far as the fish we're actually out here to catch, it seems like now we've got them on panko, we've got them on the soybean meal. Like it don't seem like one's out producing the other. Get another worm. I'm using these red worms today. Sometimes I get night crawl. I just get whatever. I go to the store, whatever worms looks the best. The advantage of the red worms versus the night crawlers, though, is they're basically the same price, but you get more worms. We're going to reel in this other line over here, too, and we get this one cast out. As it got hit, and that other fish pulled in the line, so it's probably gotten pulled away from where the... If I got a fish on here, by damn, we're pulling in something. Or I'm pulling in a limb. Oh, it's a turtle. I was wondering if we'd see a turtle today. Is it a snapper or a slider? Okay, good, it's a slider. We can hopefully save this one. Let me bust out my net. I repaired my net, by the way. Got some zip ties. Fixed the hole in my net, so shouldn't have any issues with that today. Okay, turtle. Let's see what you've done to yourself. Let's see what you've done. I love turtles, but I hate hooking them because I don't want to hurt them. He's hissing at me. You are lucky, turtle. You got it right on the bottom lip. And just like that, we got it out. Hi. Will you poke your head out? I got the hook out your mouth. You want to come out and say hi to everybody? Yeah, you're on camera. Where are we at? We're less than 2 hours into this video, so there are still thousands of people that are seeing you right now, turtle. Thousands. Can you believe there are thousands of people that watch me? This turtle, he don't even know what YouTube is. He don't have a clue. He's better off for it too. Unless he needs to fix something, then he has to go to the Encyclopedia Britannica like the rest of us did when we were kids. You're a pretty cool looking turtle. Look at them claws. Big old claws on that thing. You're a good looking turtle though. You ready to go home? All right, we'll see you, buddy. Glad we could get that hook out easily. All right, man. Well, definitely glad I checked that rod now. We couldn't be catching them with that turtle attached. Unless something come up and was to eat the turtle, which I wouldn't be shocked. Them turtles are down there. Big catfish around. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them get eaten. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'm going to tell you that story with my seat here in a minute. We're going to get that story out. I've got an update on that seat, and I've had a hard time, folks. I think the universe trying to tell me I'm fat. Maybe I need to drop a pound or two. Like I just dropped this worm. Get on that hook, worm. Hook him through there twice. Well, I guess the turtle counts as a different species now. So we got carp, channel cat, blue cat, and turtle. 4 species. Less than 2 hours. And yes, I'd rather catch the turtle than a channel cat. for those of you that's maybe gonna ask. So anyway, I'm out there pedaling. I was on a bait run. And all of a sudden my seat gives way. It just falls out, the stitching. Where it was stitched together, the fabric just gave way. And so I finished out the trip and I got her bait and whatnot. And I go home that day and I call Old Town's customer service. Because I know the kayak itself, the hull, has a lifetime warranty for manufacturing defects. And I know my pedal drive has a warranty 5 years. But I wasn't sure about the seat. I wasn't sure, like, is it included in the hull warranty? Does it have its own warranty? I didn't know. So I call, hoping that it was still going to be under warranty. The kayak's 3 years old. But of course it wasn't. The seat's only 1 year. Well, crap, you know. So I asked the girl, can I get the part there, just the fabric, to slide over the seat frame? And I'm thinking probably 30 bucks, 40 bucks at the most. Yeah, they don't sell the material. The part of the seat that tore or the stitching come free, they don't sell that. You have to buy a whole new seat, $192. And so of course I'm pissed because I don't want to buy a whole new seat. My seat frame is fine. Like, it's metal. It'll stand the test of time. All I need is the fabric. And I shouldn't have to pay $192 when I only need the fabric. And it ain't even about the money, it's about the principle of it. Like, you know, it's a common problem with those seats. I've found out since then from making a Facebook post about trying to come up with a fix for it. Like, everybody's having this problem. So, if you're not going to fix, as a company, if you're not going to fix the problem, then at least provide a solution for us to fix the problem. But anyway, I get no resolution through Old Town's customer service. Hell with them. So I get online, I go to Facebook, to the Old Town fishing group. I make a post explaining what's happened, wanting to know if anybody knows where I can purchase like an aftermarket seat material to put on there. And nobody knew of any aftermarket places, but most people commented, said they had the problem happen to them too, and they had sewed it back together. And one guy had recommended I look up a back stitch method of sewing, because I don't know how to sew. And so I looked it up and I watched a video. It was a 1 minute long video of this back stitch method. I'm like, I can do that. Because, you know, I've watched a video for 1 minute, so now I'm an expert. And so I ordered me some thread and some needles. And it shows up, not on time, of course, because Amazon's 1 day delivery. Even if it says 1 day, it's showing up day 3. Which is fine, I wasn't in a rush anyway, but still. So I get this material, and I watch the video again before I start. So now I've watched the 1 minute video twice. So I've got 2 minutes of sewing knowledge now before I commence this job I'm about to do here, this quilting bee I'm about to begin on my seat. And folks, I should have filmed me trying to stitch this seat back together. I don't care how easy it looks on video, sewing ain't easy. Your grandmas and your 70-year-old aunt that you might have out there that's sewing quilts for the Arts and Crafts Festival, let me tell you, she's got talent, folks. It's a skill to sew. It's a skill I don't have. I spent about 20 minutes and half my stitches, like they weren't, somehow or another didn't get them tight enough. Like they were loose, and I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So then I'm even more pissed that I have to do this, because I said, I got to fix my seat. And so I went back to the Facebook post, because I remember some guy had done something with zip ties. And yeah, so he had done something with zip ties, and I thought, well, that'd be easier. I'll just zip tie this thing. So I got some zip ties and run through, and I did it on the side that had tore up, and I said, you know what? the same person that sewed this probably done both sides of the seat, right? So it's a matter of time before the other half falls apart and I fall out again. So I went ahead and zip tied the other side too. So now my seat is back together, at least for the time being. Now I sat in it in my living room floor, but I've not sat in it like on the water for an extended amount of time. So I'm gonna try it out tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. It could be a disaster. The seat, where I've zip tied it, it's tighter now, so it don't feel as comfortable. And so that's gonna be a bit of an issue. I'm hoping that maybe when I sat in it for a little while, the material will stretch a bit and I can get a little bit more comfort out of it. But yeah, I've had to zip tie this damn seat because Old Town's piss poor quality. I mean, granted, the seat's 3 years old, okay? It is. But, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking this, I think the seat should last longer than 3 years, okay? For what you pay for these things, I mean, they're charging $192 for these seats. It should last longer than 3 years. And I ain't even, like, I'm not exceeding the capacity of this seat as far as weight goes. Like, I'm well under the weight capacity of this thing. And this kayak has probably been used in the 3 years I've had it. How many times have I used that kayak? 150 or less, probably. So, I mean, it hasn't even seen a lot of use. It's stored under a carport when I'm not using it, so it's not out in the elements. Like, it just shouldn't have happened. That's a manufacturing defect, I feel like. I know it took 3 years to do it, but that shouldn't be normal wear and tear. At least in my opinion. I could be dead wrong, but that's my thoughts on it. And when it's a known problem like that, I feel like they ought to have a better solution for it. Because there were several people that chimed in on my post there, said they'd had the same, that it'd come apart in the same area on their seat. So it's a known problem. But either way, I think I've got it fixed. We'll try it out tomorrow. See how it goes. I'm probably not going to film tomorrow. The area where I'm getting skipjack at right now, I don't really want to burn right now at this moment. So I'm getting them in there in pretty good numbers. I don't want a bunch of people, bait dealers and stuff, showing up as soon as my video posts. And they will. They'll be in there thick as thieves, catching every skipjack they can to pull out of there and sell. And then I won't be able to get back in there and get any. So, probably won't film, but I'm hoping to maybe finally get down to Alabama if I can get a cooler full. I've got to get down there and practice for this tournament coming up. By the time you're seeing this video, actually, I think today, the video I'm filming right now will come out the day that I'm fishing the tournament in Alabama. So I'm about 2 weeks, I think I'm about 2 weeks ahead on videos right now, so. But I've got to get down there and at least either find out where I want to fish at or figure out at least some places I don't want to fish at. So if I can get bait tomorrow, I may go ahead and drive to Alabama tomorrow afternoon and spend the night and get up and do a morning session and an afternoon session. I'll film one of them for sure, but just try to figure out a plan for tournament day. This tournament's on the Tennessee River, which I fish all the time, but it's in Alabama, it's on Wheeler. I fished the Wheeler Reservoir twice in my life, so I don't have a lot of experience. And every reservoir of the Tennessee River, even though it's the same river, they all fish just a little bit different. And so I want to get down there and just mess around and see what's going on and get a game plan together. I don't know how many people's going to be at the tournament. I imagine we'll probably have 15, 20 people. So it's going to take the time of year and the body of water, like it's going to take a pretty good score to win that thing, or to cash even. So I want to get down there and see what I can do. I'm not going to have the new kayak ready for this tournament. As I've mentioned in some other videos, I've made some purchases toward building the new kayak. I've got my new motor. It's not on here, but I've got it at the house. I've got the battery for it, just waiting on the kayak. And I think most likely I'm going to get the Bonafide XTR 130 when it comes out. And from what I've been told, this is through the grapevine, so I don't know this to be 100% true, although you should be seeing this video should be coming out on the 14th, so supposedly the 16th is when the kayaks are going to hit the stores. I would like to look at this thing before making a final decision, so if it don't come out till the 16th, clearly you're not going to have the tournament for the 14th, or have the kayak for the 14th of the tournament there. So hopefully we'll have it for the next tournament in October in Louisiana, though, if I choose to take it. I may take the pedal kayak down there just so I can fish the salt. We'll see. We'll see how this tournament goes. That's kind of going to determine how much effort I need to put into trying to win the next one versus just trying to be competitive. But regardless, here in the next, by the end of the month here, I should at least have, because if the Bonafide kayak, if I see it in person and I either don't like it or I find something about it that's just not going to suit me for whatever reason, that I'm probably going to break down and try another new canoe, bad as I hate to. I want that open platform and I want a 360 seat, and right now that Bonafide and the new canoe are about the two options you have for it. Is our back rod here's getting a tug. I put the camera on it, now it ain't gonna do it. The line's a little slack though, ain't it? Yeah, something tugged it, but it didn't. Or it hit the line while it was over there in the chum pile, potentially. But yeah, everything else though on the kayak build's ready to go. I've bought the Power Pole. It's called the Power Pole Move motor. 36-inch shaft. It's for kayaks. And it can be run two ways, 24 volt or 36 volt. I bought a 36 volt lithium battery for it, 60 amp hour. And so that'll give me the full 100 pound. If you run it at 24 volts, it's 80 pound thrust. If you run it at 36 volts, it's 100 pound thrust. Now, for most applications, I don't need 100 pound thrust, but that will give you maximum amount of speed out of it. And so what Bonafide's claiming is you're looking at 7 to 8 miles an hour. We'll see if I get that or not, but I think the Bonafide's probably going to be what I go with. This kayak here I will sell. I've got the motor. A guy from our tournament group, he wants the motor and my battery. So, and I'm gonna take the live scope off, of course. My power poles that I'm using out here today for the anchor poles here, I'll take those off to put on the next kayak. So basically what I'll have left is the kayak hull. It'll come with the pedal drive. And then I'm gonna sell my trailer with it as well. Because I've got a new, I don't know if I told you all this or not. I can't remember if I did or I didn't. This may be a rerun if I have, but I did something I said I'd never do. I've ordered a kayak trailer. I broke down and done it. this new kayak is going to be so damn heavy. Well, not just the weight of the kayak, but with all the crap I'm putting on it, because it's going to be all the bells and whistles. I wanted a longer trailer to make it easier getting in and out of, especially in the wintertime when they drop our water level down. And I'd seen a trailer online that I really liked back in the spring, and it's kind of expensive, and I talked myself out of it, but I love the design of it. And I finally broke down and called them. It's, well, hold on. We're about to catch a fish, and then I'm going to tell you about this trailer. He's got it. Pick up on him, y'all. Get him. Before he gets in them bushes over there, them trees. I think it's another kitty. You all cannot keep these channel cats off the line today. They are relentless. I mean, it's just been... Oh, no, I've lied to you. Boy, he ain't fought right. This is another carp that ain't fought right. I guess now maybe he'll take off. It's a smaller carp. Now he's wanting to run a little bit. He just hit it kind of sluggish. Oh, that one didn't. Oh, and he let go. That one there saw an opportunity to try to steal the worm while we had our hands full with this one. Yeah, that's a smaller one here. He's like, I'll show you, Justin. You call me small and watch me take off. Yeah, you could make an argument to keep this one for bait, but with the skipjack bite being so good right now, I really don't think I'm gonna need them. I got a feeling I may be setting myself up for failure tomorrow, but I got a feeling I'm gonna load up on them pretty easy. Where I've been getting them at's been pretty good lately. It took me all summer to get on a good bite, but I finally found some in good numbers. This thing now, he barely fought in the beginning, now he don't want to come over here. He says I've insulted him, he don't want to be on this video. Yeah, he's a little bigger than what I thought he was looking at him in the water, but still a smaller carp compared to some of the others we've got today. Can I have the hook back, please and thank you, sir? I said please. Well, he don't care that I said please. There it comes. Let's hold you out this way. I'm not going to give you front camera time. You ain't quite that big enough to justify it, but I'll at least make you famous that way. You're welcome, fish. I don't think that fish is very grateful. Well, on the back rod, that front rod got nailed. We'll probably reel it in here in a second because the way it got hit, I doubt the worm is still on there. I'm gonna put some soybean meal on this, throw it out behind us. Yeah, I don't think it's making a difference today, y'all. Soybean meal versus panko. I think if you got something out there to draw them in and something on the hook, you're going to catch them. We seem to have caught fish on both setups today. Pretty consistently thus far. At least in my mind, that's the way it seems like. The actual numbers may say otherwise when the trip is done, but all right. Toss that there. Loosen our drag again. Now, look at this line. It's completely slack. This line's slack right here, y'all. Did we get a fish hit and me not know about it? By God, we did. Look at this. This fish has come right at us. Look right here. Look right here. Oh, y'all, my bait was right here. It was all the way back to right here. Nothing on it though. Something had moved it. Ain't that something? A worm's still on there. How did that happen? Was that rod that's been, did I forget to cast it back out? Am I having a brain cramp? Did I just do the dumbest thing ever? Did I forget to cast this back out at some point? Because how did that, because I would have cast it over there. How did it get from there all the way back to here? I don't know what's happening here. Maybe I'm an idiot and just forgot to cast it back out and it was just sitting there or something. I don't know. I had to reel a long ways to catch up to it. I wouldn't have had that much slack out if it was just still sitting there after one of them other last fish or something. I don't know what happened with that. I know it's going back out. We'll have it in the right place this time. About cast it too far. Yeah, that's some shenanigans right there, buddy. That's some craziness happening. Let's get our other soybean rod here, and I'm gonna tell you about this trailer that I said I would never do. I would never buy a kayak trailer. Never say never in this life, because I've done it. Well, I've started the process anyway. I may have told y'all about this because that was a few weeks ago that I put the deposit on this trailer. They're 90 days out when you order one, because they're behind on making them, on building them. So I've still got a ways to go before I get it. But it's a pretty badass trailer and different than any of the other trailers that I've seen, which is why I wanted it. Most kayak trailers, to me anyway, look like glorified jet ski trailers. Something fell in the water behind us over there. Did you hear that splash? Hope we don't get plunked in the head with a branch. But most of these kayak trailers look just like a jet ski trailer. Now, sure, they might have better materials. Maybe they're a little better quality trailer, but not, in my opinion, not worth the premium price tag. Because anything that has kayak in front of the word, kayak trailer, any accessory for kayaks, like it just, you add 25% to the price, guaranteed. If it's made for kayaks, that's just the way it is. They take advantage of the kayak fishing community. But so anyway, I just never could justify buying one of these kayak trailers when I've got a jet ski trailer for each one of my kayaks. One of them I paid I've maybe got $300 in it. I think I'd paid $200, $250 for it, and then I put new tires and lights. So I got about $300 in one of them, and the other one I pretty much got for free because I'd bought the trailer and a kayak and the whole setup, and then took the kayak off of it, sold the kayak for what I'd bought the whole package for, and then kept the trailer. So you know, I've got virtually nothing in my trailers that I have, so it's hard for me to justify spending the money on one of these fancy kayak trailers. But I saw one, and the company's called Fish Texas. And their kayak trailer design is different than any of the others I've seen in that, first off, it's a longer trailer, which I like because, again, when in the fall here on the Tennessee River, TVA lowers the water level down for winter drawdown. They do that for flood control. And so places that are easily accessible now when the water's up, when the water drops 6 or 8 feet, many of those become inaccessible. Or the ramps themselves, the launch sites, the grade of them makes it difficult. So I have a harder time getting in and out of places in the winter. And some of the places I go have a tendency to, I have to kind of walk out in the water a little ways. And there's been times where I will step out in water too deep and get water all down in my boot and stuff, because you have to go out so far to be able to shove the kayak off the trailer. So this kayak, or this trailer, is significantly long. It's like 18 feet long. So that's number one that I like. Number two about this trailer, it has a walkway. In front of where the kayak sits, there's a platform, like a standing platform you can step up on. And then down each side of the kayak where it sits on the trailer, you can walk that way. So you can walk all the way down this trailer, not even get your feet wet. Which, you know, summertime doesn't matter, but in the wintertime when it's cold, that's a huge, huge thing for me. So I really like the trailer, I like the design of it, and so I pulled the trigger on one. I've put down the deposit, but it's 90 days, and I done it. It was, I think it was end of July or early August. But I can't remember if I told you all that or not. I know I've talked about the kayak and the accessories and stuff, but I don't remember if I told you about the trailer. So I still got a ways to go. I imagine it'll probably be ready end of October, early November probably. Look up here in them woods. Can you see them? Them deer, they done snuck up on me. Look at them, there's a whole herd of them. There's at least 6. I can see 6 of them. I don't know if you can see through the leaves. I'm looking into the sun, but I see them up there. Old deer. Them deer saved me today, though. Y'all, oh, we got things all over the lens again here. Let's clean these off. Them deer saved me today because I'd seen some coming down the road this morning, and I was driving slow because I totaled my last car 2 years ago, hitting a deer. And then I'd hit one a few weeks ago, or I think the deer here hit me and busted out the grill on my car, caused $400 worth of damage. So I'm a little bit paranoid on the deer, especially right now when I'm seeing so many. And I was driving slow, and that other car come around the curve, James Bond style, flying this morning. If I had been going full speed, me and that car may have ended up hitting head on. So I guess Bambi and their family kind of saved me in a roundabout way. There's a bunch of Bambis out right now, though. It's that time of year. We're getting close to hunting season here. I'm hoping some people hit the woods hard this year, take a bunch of them out. We got 2 daggone many of them around here. Oh, I've talked about that before, but all these developments have went up, these subdivisions, apartment complexes. All the deer's land is getting developed, and so therefore they're not going to stop breeding just because they're running out of ground. So they just keep multiplying, and people's hunting grounds is getting developed, so there's less places to hunt them. And they're in more urban areas now, and you can't do nothing about them. Other than just run them over with your car and do thousands of dollars in damage. But that whole herd had snuck up on me, buddy. I just hope we don't see no snakes sneaking up on these mosquitoes. These mosquitoes today haven't bothered trying to sneak up. They just attack, and they're still out. I should have wore boots. But yeah, man, this new trailer is from Fish, Texas. Part of the expense of the trailer is getting it here from Texas. That's a big part of the expense of it. I'm kind of hoping, and I don't know if this will work out or not, but it would be cool if it did. If the trailer was ready before our tournament in October there to go to Louisiana, what I may do, instead of paying the shipping charge to have the trailer sent to me, is drive to Texas and get it. You know, haul the kayak down without the trailer. It'd be a pain in the ass to do that. But it could be done. And just pick up the trailer and haul the kayak, when I'm finished fishing, haul the kayak back home with the trailer. It could be done. Pain in the ass to do so, but it could be done. I don't know if that'll work out or not with the timing of it all, because I was wanting to go down to Louisiana early. But we'll see how things... Oh, big takedown. Soybean meal. They put the screws to him here a little bit. Oh, he's over there on that other bank. Y'all make him turn. Turn him, y'all. Tell him to come this way. I've got to get a little rough with him here. Ah, come on, fish, turn. You're gonna get us all them trees. He is right along the bank over there. He's literally swimming along the bank. Our line's pulling through the trees. I'm trying to get him out. I don't want to rip that hook out of his mouth, but at the same time too, I can't let him stay over there. He's gonna have us wrapped up and everything. Get control of your fish, y'all. All right, I think we're good now. That was a close call. He was hell bent on staying in them trees, man. Right there he is. Nice, that was an awesome takedown. Awesome takedown. If that don't get your blood flowing just a smidge, it ain't gonna get no better, folks. You're on the wrong channel. That excites me every time. Rod doubles, that drag stripping, man, that's what it's all about, folks. Come over here, fish. Will you appease me by coming over here? Let me get you on this side, potentially. Oh, he ain't gonna let me get him at all. Got the quick release on that one. That's all right. We had our fun with him. It's a wonder we didn't pull that hook out when I was trying to steer him away from the trees. He even left the worm on. He was in such a rush to get out of here, he didn't take the worm with him. I think this soybean meal, obviously using less of it, having more corn, and it seems to be holding a little better. I've been putting less of it on the feeder, so it kind of packs on better. And today, where we're fishing at here, I'm obviously not casting as far as some of the other places that I would fished, so not having to cast as hard, so therefore it's maybe not coming off as easily in the cast. But I feel like today we've gotten, so far anyway, a mixture of fish on both rigs. Kind of goes with what my theory, my hypothesis was, being that we're official scientists. We're better at doing science experiments than we are at sewing seats back together. I have so much more respect for old women who sew quilts now. My grandma, you know, she'd keep me and stuff, and when we wasn't watching wrestling, she'd be back there sewing quilts. She had a bedroom in her house. That was her sewing room, and she had I forget what them things are called now. Hell, they look kind of like table saws, but they'd stretch that quilt out there, and she'd sew it, and sometimes her friends would come over, and they'd sit there and sew quilts and gossip and stuff, and I'd build forts under the quilt. But I got a lot more respect for them now after me trying to sew my seat. It's hard to sew. I hope them zip ties hold up. Well, my feet are itching so bad, y'all. They're itching something terrible. My foot finally healed after all this time where Daphne cut me. You can see I got a pretty good scar from it there. She got me deep with that leash and that friction burn. I told that story here recently, but it's finally healed up completely now, just scarred over. But yeah, folks, gonna have a whole new rig coming here soon. New kayak, new motor, new battery, new trailer. Hopefully have it all, I'm hoping by November, have everything set up. I'm going to take, as I'm still swatting skeeters here, I'm going to take that live scope on this kayak. I'm not going to mount it permanently on the new one. I'm going to put it on a ice fishing setup. They make these ice fishing setups where you can have your screen, your battery, all your wiring and everything in like a compact package. And that way when I am wanting to use the live scope, maybe I'm going crappie fishing. Maybe it's winter time and I want to try to go target some catfish with the live scope. I'll take the whole kit there, if you will, put it on the kayak and use it. But then when I'm not using it, well, you take a day like today, for instance, I won't even turn that graph on out here carp fishing. But with everything kind of permanently mounted on this kayak, I can't easily take it off. So when these carp splash and flop around, like that screen there has got fish slime and pack bait all over it, where it's in the way. So it won't be in the way on the new kayak. I'll just use it when I need it, and when I don't need it, it won't be on there. And I'll just put a smaller graph, you know, maybe like a old 5-inch or something, like I got on my other kayak, just something that'll show me depth, speed, and my map card, which is all I need when I'm catfishing. I'll have it on there, and that way it won't take up as much space otherwise. But yeah, we'll have a whole new setup, and I'll have it to use for YouTube, have it to use for the tournaments. I still, and I know I'm weird, a lot of you don't understand me with this. I've talked about this before, and people, you either get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, I'm not going to be able to explain it in such a way that you are. But, and it's not even, I get it oftentimes too from people like, why don't you just get a boat? Like, why do you like fishing out of kayaks? Why do you want to fish out of kayaks? It's just fun. It's just more fun. That's all I can explain it. And the smaller the kayak you're in, and you can't just go out and in any old kayak. I mean, you need a certain level of stability. You need a certain level of storage space. I have to have gear with me to perform the job I'm doing, whether it's catfishing, carp, whatever. Like there's things I need to be able to put on the kayak. I need to be able to land big fish in it. But when you get a kayak that's way bigger and more stable than you need, it takes away from some of the kayak fishing experience. I almost feel like you're kind of in a small boat. And this new kayak, this one here I'm in, and the new kayak I'm getting are kind of just, technically, they're quote unquote kayaks, but they're more of a plastic boat, in my opinion. And I want to spend as much time as I can fishing in something that I enjoy the most. And so definitely going to be keeping the other kayak, assuming the seat situation works out. I do at some point in time want to try out the Hobie Lynx. I want to demo it. I think that kayak's probably not going to work out for me. Couple reasons. One, the Hobie drive I hate. I've talked about that a lot in the past. It gives me sciatica, that stepping motion. I like the bicycle style better, like with Old Town, and Native has a bicycle style pedal. That just does better for me and my body than the stepping motion. So that Hobie Lynx would obviously have the pedals that bother me. The other thing is the seat in the Hobie Lynx sets really low to the floor. And me being a taller person, I like to set up higher. It puts the, hold on, I gotta swat some mosquitoes here. It puts your hips to knees at a more level angle, which makes it more comfortable. That Hobie Lynx you set lower, so my hips are gonna be below my knees more, and so I don't know, but the weight of that platform is so appealing to me. It's so lightweight. So I'd like to try one out at some point. I'd like to demo one. I don't know anybody that has one. Here around where I fish, most everybody is using public boat ramps, so they're all in Hobies, Hobie Pro Anglers. But I would like to be able to take that Hobie Lynx and launch it in places that are more off the beaten path type place, or take it to the beach with me when I go down there to shark fish or just fish in the ocean. It would make it so much easier getting through the sand with that lighter weight kayak, and be easier to transport and everything. So I want to try one out, but I don't know anybody around here that has one, and the local shops here don't really do. Prior to COVID, these kayak shops, we got a couple dealers here local to me, they would do demo days. You can show up and they'd have several different models and brands of kayaks, and you could go out there and sign your waiver and hop on as many of them as you wanted and just go take them for a spin, try them out. And that was a great way to kind of figure out if a particular brand or model of kayak was going to be a good fit for you. You could get some seat time in it, try to figure out, like, is this kayak stable enough for me? Is it fast enough for me? Is there enough storage space? Where would I mount rod holders? You can more easily figure those things out when you're actually out in the kayak trying it on the water, versus just, all kayaks look big when you're staring at them completely empty in a showroom floor or on a website somewhere. And you know, these websites, when a company launches a new kayak, I don't know where they find these girls at, but they find these girls that are like 4.5 foot tall and weigh 95 pounds. And so you put somebody that small in a kayak, of course the kayak's going to look significantly bigger than it is. And they'll have these little girls too. I swear, these girls, they're 4.5 foot tall, 80 pounds. They'll have them standing on the front of the kayak to try to show you how stable the kayak is. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Who the hell in the real world is going to be standing on the front of their kayak? Absolutely nobody. I want to see somebody that's about 6'2", and weighs 250 pounds, I want to see them stand up where you would be standing up. I want to see them lean over and land a big fish. I want to see what the kayak does in that situation, because that's real world. And so the way you figure out what works in the real world is to try a kayak out. But since COVID, companies, at least the local dealers anyway, don't really do demo days anymore. I tried. They did one. River Sports in Knoxville did one demo day when the Old Town electric PDL kayak come out. Their new, it was the kayak they launched there in the spring, and it's got like the electric bike style pedals where you can pedal and the motor will assist you, or the motor can run on its own, but you still got the pedal drive too. They had one day where you could go out there and try it out. And I went up there and tried it out. And that's, I mean, I really was excited about that kayak, because it's the same model of kayak of my pedal kayak that I have there, my Old Town Big Water. It's the same model, which I love the platform. And I'm like, great, you give me motorized pedals too? That's exactly what I want. But once I tried it out, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. Because the drive, the pedal drive felt kind of clunky, I guess. It was loud. The warranty on the regular pedal drive is 5 years. I think it was only a year or two on the motorized. And I'm thinking, man, you got the motor, you got more moving parts. You pedaling along with the motor assisting you. To shut it off, you pedal backwards, and that disengages it, and then you have to pedal backwards some more for it to re-engage for you to pedal. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of mechanisms here. There's a lot more potential for failure, for something to break down. And so, and again, it had the lesser warranty. And to me, when a company, you can tell how strongly a company believes in something by how long their warranty is. Like the Old Town kayaks, for instance, the hull, not the seats. By God, we know for sure not the seats, but the hull of the kayak, a lifetime warranty. They ain't offering that if they're having to replace hulls all the time, okay? But and I've said this before, the Old Town kayak, the hulls, it's the thickest plastic of any kayak that I've drilled into. Like, they really go above and beyond on their hulls. And their pedal drive, I've been using that pedal drive now for 3 years. It feels as good as new. And I don't have a single complaint or problem with that pedal drive. 5-year warranty. You know it's probably going to make it at least 5 years. But when they come out with the new one, and I forget if it's either a 1 year or 2 year warranty on it, I'm like, yeah, it don't seem like they're very confident in their new drive. So I had some reservations about it, and then once I tried it out, I'm like, this ain't for me. But I was able to make that determination because of the demo day. I was able to go up there, hop in it, and try it out. And now companies just don't really do that much anymore, and that's a shame. Because I think maybe you get less sales that way. I guess it's better for business if somebody goes and buys the kayak they think they want and then gets in it and realize it ain't for them, so they turn around and sell it, probably at a loss, and then go buy the next one they think they want. I guess you get more sales as a business like that. But from the customer perspective, the fact that you have to buy one in order to be able to try it out is, you know, you wouldn't do that with a car. I mean, I guess somebody might, but most of the time you go get a new car or truck, you're going to take it for a test drive first. So, I don't know. Bottom line is, I'm willing to take the chance on the Bonafide without getting in it, but I do want to see it in person and at least, I want to check, do the floors flex? How thick does the plastic appear? The area where the bow mount is, like, is it reinforced? Like, you know, there's some things I want to see, even without getting it. But when it comes to something like the Hobie Lynx, where I'm concerned that I'm going to have comfort issues with it because of how the seat height is, that I definitely, I want to try it out. I want to set in it. Take it for a spin before I would commit to that. So there's a company in Georgia, or a store down there, they've got like a pond behind the store, and they sell Hobies. And you can go down there and test them out. But hell, it's a 3-hour drive from me. You know, it ain't like I can just take a little road trip and go down there. I mean, you got to plan a whole day, 3 hours each way. So I keep hoping to run into somebody that's got one. I think when I go to the beach this year, me and my girlfriend's going down to the Keys there in November. I'm hoping to run into somebody that's maybe got one. Well, I can try it out. I still don't know how you would mount rod holders securely to it, because that Hobie Lynx, it's almost like a paddleboard, essentially, type material. It's foam on the inside. It's got a layer of fiberglass around it, and then a layer of plastic. And so you really don't have anything that you can't, it has no inside. Like, you can't get in there and mount bolts or bolt things through. You can't do that. Oh, middle rod. Got another fish. And of course, he's headed straight to that bank over there. They want to run straight away from us. Okay, he's turned now. He's coming back. Boy, I tell you, it's intense when that rod goes over, but it quick. Oh, he dropped it too. We done lost another one, y'all. Dadgummit. I was trying to say it's a little intense when they take off, but then it turns to a little anxiety when they get over there toward the bank and you know they about to run you into something. This panko though, you see how we've still got some in there? Like, it don't fall off as quickly as the soybean meal. It seems to last on the feeders a little longer. The panko just packs better. I don't know that it's the best material to be using for pack bait. You know, that's, again, everybody's got their own favorite recipe. I've had people tell me a million different recipes in the comment box. Try this, try that. I think they all going to catch fish. I think every one of them will. I do like the panko though. Just so much easier to work with. And I'm all about easy. I want my pack bait easy to work with, just like I want my women to be easy too. I don't want to have to work for anything. I want it to just be easy. Don't tell my girlfriend I called her easy. Thankfully, she don't watch these videos. Okay, I think we're in front of whatever that other fish had run us across earlier. Girlfriend finally got back in town. She had went to the beach this past week with her family. They had a girls' trip. Her mom and her aunt and her sister all went over to Myrtle Beach. Oh, boy, just like that. We just got it cast out. We must have put it right in its face. By gosh. Let's see if y'all can actually land this one. You've done a crap job on the last one. I'll let you try to reel in that last fish and you lost it. I knew better than to try to let you land one. I should have known you'd have mess it up. You watch a pro land this fish here. I'll keep this one on the hook. We'll show you the difference between professional and amateur. Well, I apparently ain't no professional because I've hooked the wrong species. That's another catfish. We must have put it right in this thing's face. Or else he was drawn into the splash maybe when it hit the water. Is this a blue? I think it's the blue cat right here. How about that? Boy, we have gotten several catfish. I mean, for this small of a creek, man, they're working up in here. All right, fish, let's see what we can do with you here. Let's see if we can get you over here. See if I can get him in that net. Come on in, kitty. This might be the biggest catfish of the morning, and it's been the catfish we've gotten has been a dink fest for sure. There's been several. You better have left that worm on too, fish. I don't think you did. We're gonna put a new worm on. You tell your friends, we ain't after no more catfish today. We want to leave them baits out there so we can have our carp experiment. He's got the thing hooked in a bad spot. I hear you, fish. You got it right there by the whisker. There we go. Get on out of here, you old dinkity-doo-dah. Let's see what we got going on now. He's got us all slimed up. Got us all twisted up here. Okay. Easy fix. Put that net behind us. We've about gone through this panko mix. I should have mixed up more, I reckon. I thought we'd have enough between. We do have enough between the two. But the soybean meal is just a little bit more dense, I think. The breadcrumbs, when they get wet, of course, they're going to expand. Whereas the soybean meal don't do that. Oh, about lost a worm. About threw that overboard while I was dumping out some of that dirt. Man, that thing was on that bait fast. We had to put it right there near its face. Let's see if we can do that again. All right. Yeah, girlfriend took a little beach trip with her mom and aunt and sister and stuff, and they'd went over to Myrtle Beach. And so she just got back in town, and she come over last night, and we went to, I was showing her everything got done at my house there while she is gone, where I had my driveway fixed and all that land cleared and everything. And me and her was talking. We was talking about that woman actually that cleared my land. And again, I know it sounds sexist to say this, but typically when you think of somebody operating heavy machinery, I think of a usually late 40s, early 50-year-old man. You don't think of a woman doing it, but she did a phenomenal job. And I told the story last winter there. My neighbor had a bobcat come in and trying to clear some brush on her side of the fence over there. That guy done a piss poor job, man. You could tell. And this is what the premise of my story is, like, you can tell when somebody don't know what they're doing. I don't know how to operate a bobcat. I wouldn't even know how to crank the thing up. But I can watch somebody else do it and easily tell if they know what they're doing or not. And that other guy, man, he worked 2 days and accomplished nothing. This woman, in a few hours, like, you could tell she was good. Like, you could tell she knew what she was doing. And she got in there and hit it hard, got it done, man. Did a phenomenal job. But when she got done, obviously, we had agreed to a price prior to her beginning the work. And she come out 2 days. The first day she come out was what I had initially hired her for, take that brush down, ground level. But she done such a good job on it, and there was still, even though that machine mulched everything up, there was still like a few roots and stuff. And so I talked about, she done such a good job on it though, like, I talked to her before she left, I was like, you want to fix my driveway too? And I showed her what I needed fixed on it. Another one of my fall projects. And I was like, do you have any other attachment you can put on that machine to smooth all this up for the, get ready to sow grass? Like, yeah, I can do that. And so she ended up coming back out there that second day. But she done such a good job, and I felt like she went above and beyond for the price we had agreed. I mean, honestly felt like she undercharged me. It was less than what I thought I was going to be charged. And I just felt like she done such a good job. Like, I tipped her. I tipped her both days. And you and I, we've talked about this ad nauseum on these videos, how the tipping expectations have gotten out of control. Yeah, I went to a local restaurant the other day. It's a hibachi place. Now, it's a sit-down restaurant, but they have a drive-through window. And I had went through the drive-through window to pick up a to-go order. They're literally putting the rice and the meat inside the styrofoam container in a bag and handing it through the window. That's all they're doing. But when they ring you up, it's got a spot on there for tips, and they got a little jar out there by the drive-through window wanting you to put money in there. Tip them. I'm like, I ain't tipping you to put my food in a bag at a drive-through window. I'm not doing it. And I think it's unreasonable for you to have the expectation that I should tip you in that situation. You're not providing me with the service. Now, if I go into that restaurant and somebody walks my food out and they bring me drinks, then sure, yes, I will tip in that situation because you're providing me a service. But I ain't tipping going through no damn drive-through window. But this woman who done my land, she is, in my opinion, she's providing a service. And yes, we had agreed upon a price for that service, but you know, I felt like she did a really good job. She went above and beyond. Like, the land and my driveway, when she was done, it exceeded my expectations. Like, she did such a good job on both. So I gave her extra money. And, you know, I was talking about that with my girlfriend last night. I'm like, you know, I don't think jobs like that typically get tips. But I feel like they should if they do a good job. And she agreed with me. Of course, she's more, my girlfriend, she's a better tipper than I am. But, you know, the drive-through at the hibachi place, I'm not tipping. But this woman, I will gladly tip. Me and the girlfriend last night, we went to eat at Longhorn. Again, it's a sit-down restaurant. The waiter fella, he's bringing drinks, he's bringing the food out, he's bringing your salad. Like, you know, I'm going to tip in that situation. As long as you get good service. I mean, we always get good service up there at Longhorn. Up there at Longhorn, man, they got this, they've had it all summer long, but this corn on the cob, they call it a fire roasted corn on the cob. It's like, it's got cheese and butter and all this stuff smeared on it. And I get that as one of my sides. And I'm not the most graceful corn on the cob eater. I guess my nose don't sit right on my upper lip because I always seem to get if I'm eating corn on the cob, it gets all over my nose. And again, this corn on the cob, it's got cheese and various things smeared all over it. It's delicious. It's amazing. It's the best thing they serve at Longhorn. But man, I'm eating that thing and like, I got no shame, buddy. I know there's people around at other tables, waiters or waitresses walking by, but like, I mean, I'm owning that ear of corn, buddy. Like, I mean, I'm chomping away. I've got that, when I get done, and I ain't wiping my mouth or hands off till I'm done either, because you're just gonna get them dirty again. But by the time I'm done, like that stuff, it's all over both cheeks. It's my chin, it's on my nose. There's been times I've had it in the past, I've got it like inside my nose. And the girlfriend, she just, you know, she's more dainty than I am. She can't stand it when I get that corn. She's damn near embarrassed for me. Not me. I own it. I'm just gonna sit there and devour that corn right there in front of God and everybody. I don't care what I look like when I'm eating it, because I'm in a state of bliss while I'm chomping on that corn. I don't know what all it is they put on there. It's definitely some cheese and butter and stuff, but I mean, it's amazing. Highly recommended if you go to the Longhorn. Get the corn. I think it's a seasonal thing. I don't remember them having it in the winter, but summer, fall, during corn season, I guess, if you will, when corn's actively growing, it's amazing. We went up there though, celebrate her finally being back in town. I've been to Myrtle, she went over to Myrtle Beach there with the family, and I've been over there 2 or 3 times before. Not in a long time though. I don't think I've been since, gosh, I honestly can't even remember. I remember I was dating a girl and we went over there after college. I don't know, it's been a long time. It's probably been 15 years or more since I've been to Myrtle Beach, but of all the beaches to go to, I don't really think that Myrtle Beach is like I mean, I know it's a tourist spot, especially for people in Tennessee, because I think it's the closest beach to us from where I live, but yeah. If I'm gonna go to a beach, I'm just gonna drive. If I'm gonna drive that far, I might as well drive an extra couple hours and go somewhere better. You know what I mean? Because Myrtle Beach, it's like, it kind of reminds me of just of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, just at the beach. It's a bunch of rinky-dink shops that nobody wants to go to, and a beach that's not very pretty. I mean, it says what it is. You go to Myrtle Beach, it's college kids and old people. There's not really a lot in between. Because anybody that's like normal adult age that's got any sense, they ain't going there. But the girlfriend, her family, they went over there. Apparently had a pretty good time. The girlfriend had invited me to go, but you know, me hanging out with a bunch of women and stuff, I don't really want to do that. I mean, if it was like a sorority party and I'd been invited, that's one thing, but the girlfriend, her mom, and her aunt, I don't know that that's the best. I'm gonna get myself in trouble probably, you know, if I'm in that situation, so it's better for me just not to go. But I am looking forward to going down there to the Keys here in 2 or 3 months, November. How far away is it? October, 2 months away. Man, this year has flown by so fast. It's that saying we've all heard, the days drag by, but the days are long, but the years fly by. As I butcher that saying, like, it's the God's honest truth. Like, man, the individual days seem to just drag sometimes, but you look up and it's like, man, another year's flown by. Here we are, end of summer. early fall, whatever you want to call it. I guess technically we're not in fall yet. But to me, fall starts when football starts. So football started. So it's fall. It's my favorite time of year. When it's warm enough where you can go out and enjoy yourself outside without having to be all bundled up. But you start getting a little bit cooler temperatures, you start getting some leaves turning. The fishing typically gets better in the fall. Usually from post-spawn about mid-July, which this year it was a little later starting, but it incrementally gets better all the way up through until winter, really. Usually September's better than August, October's better than September, November's better than October. Like, it just gets progressively better until it gets cold. As our back line, watch this. We've got one here that's knocked slack in us, folks. Let me see if I can pick up on him here, see if we feel anything. Watch this, watch this. Oh, I set the hook on air. He had it. Something had picked up our bait and moved it. He didn't get a worm though, did he? Well, let's put some soybean meal on this one. No worm lives to fight another day. Speaking of football, though, I know a lot of you that's out there are my age, my demographic likes football, and a lot of you don't. But here's kind of a story that's a football story, but kind of people that ain't into football might find it interesting too. So I'm filming this video. College football has started, the NFL has not, at the time of me filming today. But there's a story come out about Tom Brady. And of course, by the time you're seeing this, things may have changed with this story. So I'm late to the news cycle with this video being behind potentially, but this is what they're talking about right now, and I find this to be appalling. Tom Brady, of course, retired playing football, best quarterback of all time. And I hated Tom Brady back in the day because I'm a Tennessee boy. I'm a Peyton Manning fan. And Tom Brady kind of owned Peyton Manning back in the day. You know, that Tom Brady going to the Super Bowl every year, Peyton wasn't. So I hated Tom Brady and the Patriots back in the day. But as Tom Brady got older, even though he was the greatest of all time, he kind of became almost an underdog story because he wasn't just fighting to maintain relevance and his place in the league, but he was fighting against time as he was, what was he when he retired? 45, 46 when he quit playing? Like, he was playing at a high level into his early 40s there, mid 40s. And so that's kind of, as somebody, now I'm 42 now, like, I find that inspirational to see somebody competing at that level into their 40s. Like, it's just, it's inspirational. So I always had respect for him. But over the last few years, I've come to really like him. And so this year, he's supposed to be the announcer on Fox. He's going to be the color commentator. And I'm really looking forward to it because, I mean, the color commentator on these broadcasts are really there to give you insight into the game. And what better insight could you possibly have into the game of football than Tom Brady, the best player of all time, one of the smartest players of all time? So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to his analysis and what he's going to bring to the table. I think he's going to be great. And by the time you're seeing this video, of course, you've probably seen him call 2 games. So we'll have an idea of whether or not he's any count or not. But here's what they're doing to him. Because he's trying to buy a part of the ownership stake of the Raiders, they're not letting him into any of the teams, the facilities. So prior to a football game, the announce team will have access to the teams that they're going to be calling the game for. They can go to practices, they can interview coaches, players, etc., which is important because, I mean, they're doing a broadcast on national television. They need to have some information. Well, they're not letting Tom Brady do this because he's trying to be part owner of the Raiders. It's a competitive disadvantage, I guess. Competitive advantage for the Raiders to have. I guess they don't trust Tom Brady not to go tell the Raiders what he finds out information-wise. And I guess that makes sense. But when you've got Tom Brady, who is the face of the NFL for 20 years, now I know nowadays Patrick Mahomes is kind of a big splash down there. Patrick Mahomes has kind of been the guy in the last few years, but for 20 years you had Tom Brady, and now he's going to be the main guy on your announce team for Fox, which is, you got Fox, NBC, ESPN, and now of course Amazon too, and Netflix is getting in the game. But like, the Sunday afternoon Fox game is one of the major games of the week, and Tom Brady's going to be the face of that. And you ain't going to give him the information he needs to do his job appropriately? Like, I find that just to be appalling. Because I want him to succeed in this job. Because, I mean, I want to hear what he has to say calling these games. Like, I want to know. Now, I'm an NFL fan. I'm a huge Tennessee football fan. But outside of UT, like the college game, I'm just not as into college football as I used to be. This year's going to be more interesting because of the playoff. But the college game, just from a TV perspective, from a viewing perspective, I don't find it as entertaining as I do the NFL because the quality of play is just so much better. The announce teams are better. The TV's better. Everything's better in the NFL. It's this middle rod here. The line's jumping around. We may be about to catch another one here. That's on the panko rod. But yeah, I want to hear Tom Brady's analysis. And I want him to have all the information while he's making this analysis. So I guess what he would probably do, I guess is what he'll have to do, is treat it like he's preparing for a game. Watch film. Both teams. That's how he's going to have to get ready for the game, but I think that's unfair. Not only to Tom Brady, I think it's unfair to us fans. But that's the way it is. Tennessee, we don't really play anybody until the Oklahoma game. That's another reason why I like NFL better than college. College teams schedule a bunch of cupcakes throughout their season. NFL, even if a good team's playing a bad team, the bad team still got NFL caliber players. I mean, sure, you're going to have, like the Detroit Lions a few years ago went 0-16, right? Like they were a dumpster fire. But most of the years, a bad team's still going to win 3, 4, 5 games. And so they're going to beat some people and be in some games, be competitive in some games that they really shouldn't be from a talent perspective. It's a better game to watch. In college, Tennessee, we played Chattanooga. I don't know what the final score was, 63-0, 69-0. I mean, hell, the game's over in the first quarter. It ain't worth watching. Now, the only people that give a damn about that game is the people who are either on the team of Chattanooga or families, because they get to come to Neyland Stadium, biggest and best stadium they'll ever play in. And every once in a while, you'll have a player at one of these smaller schools. They just got overlooked. They should be playing for a big-time program, but they got overlooked. But the thing is about those teams, Sure, you might have one player, two players on a team like that that could be playing at an SEC level. But even a bad team in the SEC, you take a Vanderbilt, they're usually the dumpster fire of the SEC. They've still got a whole team full of SEC caliber players. So it's just a talent mismatch, and it makes the games unwatchable. NFL, though, every single week, a bad team versus a good team, man, there's upsets all the time. So it's just a better game to watch, in my opinion. Oh my God, we got a boat coming through here. Are you kidding me? Have I jinxed it for real? I've never seen a boat back here, and we've got one coming. We're gonna have to reel in our lines. It's a pontoon. How the hell did he get that pontoon? I guess because they can float so shallow. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell is he doing back here? He's gonna get back here and not be able to turn around. Well, I still gotta reel everything in so you can get by.
I never see anybody back here. I live back here in the back.
Well, I never see anybody back here either. That's why I like coming back here. I don't ever see nobody.
That's why I bought that place and built a house. I used to fish permits all the time. Yeah. And I knew I could get a boat here, but nobody in this country knows you can.
Yeah. I'm surprised you can get that thing back in here.
All the way to the house. I got a floating dock back here.
I guess because it floats so shallow, maybe, or
Big boat in here.
do what now?
I run a big boat in here.
Really?
Yeah. I ain't paying attention right now. Big boat.
About to take out that limb.
Yeah, you can see where I'm cutting out. Yeah. There's one little shoal up here. It's hard to get across, but I've done it for so many years.
I'll be damned.
Catch anything?
Yeah, get some carp.
Usually right here I catch a bunch of smallmouth in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like your rig.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen anybody back here for us. I like coming here.
Turned that being right there. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I used to catch some big old cats in here too.
Oh, really?
This is the deepest part of this thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you live right here close?
Yeah, fairly close. About 30 minutes.
Oh, good deal.
Right.
Down Bruce. Like I said, live here and get back.
All right, nice meeting you. Thank you. Well, I jinxed it this morning, I guess, when I said we wouldn't see nobody back in here, because by then we just seen a pontoon boat. He said he can get his big boat back in here too, he claims. I don't know where the hell he's talking about living at, as I've went a pretty good ways back up in this creek, and hell, I guess I ain't went far enough back, but that creek back there gets narrow. Them pontoon boats, I mean, they float pretty shallow, but there ain't nowhere you can hide anymore, man. There ain't nowhere you can hide. That's unfortunate. And he just went back and forth over here trying to get around that tree with his big motor. I bet he just spooked off any fish. They may not spook with the trolling motor. I think maybe they probably do if you go over top of them, but I guarantee he running that outboard right over their heads. And coming all the way in this creek here. That's unfortunate. Seemed like a nice guy. I should have asked him how big, he said big cats. He's caught big cats in here. Because this part of the creek is deeper than the others. I should have asked him what he considers to be big. Because some people, they catch a 5-pound cat, and it's huge. The number of cats we've caught in here today would suggest that probably some bigger fish work up through here, though. I don't know. That's unfortunate, man. I was hoping nobody ever come back up in here. I just wanted to have one place all to myself. I swear I don't know how you got that pontoon boat around though. Because I mean, there's part of this creek up here. Like the old original creek channel is very narrow, and I got enough depth to work that motor through. I guess he's got his outboard in that old path too. Because you get off to the sides and you're in inches deep of water to get around. I'm like, there ain't nobody coming up in here. Shows what I know. Every time I think something can't be done, somebody will prove me wrong, and that guy's done it today. We'll get everything back out here and set back up, but I think we're screwed after him running that big outboard in. Right over top of these fish's heads. Now I could see like a jet boat or something getting back up in here at some of these places. A jet boat could definitely do it. Because they can run over the top of them shoals and whatnot. They do it on the, up in the rivers and the mountains and stuff all the time. Yep, shows what I know. I'm an idiot. I guess I've just been out here the way he talked, like he does it all the time. I guess because I don't come here very often, I've just never crossed paths with him. I have no idea where the hell he lives at though back here. Actually, that one's still got the worm on, don't it? Yeah, we'll throw that back out as is. All right, I think we got everything back out now. Disappointing for sure, but what can you do? We'll either catch some fish or we won't. I'm gonna have to go back up in there though one day. I ain't doing it today. And find out where he lives at back up in there. Because the creek, you go back, it gets more narrow than through here. I'm telling you, man, people, every time I think I know something, I clearly don't know a damn thing. I guess I've just been lucky to have been able to fish here as many times as I have and not see anybody. He must have been out early though, because, we were here right about sunrise. Unless he's been gone, maybe he was camping or somewhere. Well, he got over there hung in that tree though, and was backing up and going forward and with that outboard. I bet you, well, I say that and that line kind of jumped a little bit, didn't it? This will be a good test. Okay, we've been doing an experiment all day with these baits. This will be a good test right here. The bite seemed to have slowed a little bit, but we were still catching some fish. This guy comes through with his outboard, goes forward, backs up, forward again. My gosh, look right here. Look right here. We do got one on. I was gonna say, this will be a good test to see if these fish are gonna spook. I guess this one here didn't. Although I think it's a catfish. He's got us in some, okay, there he comes. There must be some brush or something right there. We've been in it a couple times now today. Another cat though. This will be interesting though to see if we get any more carp after he just run that motor. Didn't seem to bother this catfish though, did it? I still don't know what it is. Is it blue or? Yeah, it's a blue. We've had a large number of catfish up in here today. Should have asked that guy. Should have asked him, how big is big? Is his big catfish a 5-pounder or is his big catfish a 50-pounder? A lot of variance on what people consider big. If 50-pounders are in here, we may have to consider putting a little more time into the catfish in here, although the turtles would probably destroy our cut bait. I tried cut bait in here several weeks ago. I was out here. I think I fished, I can't remember if I fished back-to-back trips here or if I fished a few days apart or something, but I remember one day I'd caught catfish on a worm, a big catfish, or bigger, like a fun sizer. And then I come back with some cut bait, and we just got turtled. That old blue cat there, he'll fight them turtles for them baits. I am disappointed though, folks. I ain't gonna lie. I'm disappointed to know that anybody else comes back here. He said, fortunately though, he said he had never seen nobody back here either. So maybe it's just me and him. Well, catfish got us all slimed up, didn't he? Okay, he left the worm on, so we're gonna just throw out some more panko on there. We about gone through our panko today. Still got a bunch of the soybean meal. Got 2 rods of the soybean meal right now. That one in the back, I'd put the soybean meal on too. Okay. Back out it goes. All right, we're fishing again. Got all 3 rods out. Yeah, that catfish there didn't seem to be affected by the boat going right over top of his head, but we'll see about the carp. I've just seen them, personally have seen them spook so many times. And, you know, I used to bow fish back in the day. I don't recommend it, and it's one of them things I wish they'd banned, but I admit I had a little boat, a little aluminum boat with lights on it, and I got kind of into bow fishing there for a couple years in my younger days. And you go out there at night, and of course you're motoring along, you'll see fish out in front of you and beside you and stuff in the light. But anytime you bump into something with that motor, or you know, if I had somebody with me and I was trying to get too close to the fish really to give them a better shot, them fish would spook. And so that plus just me seeing fish when I'm going through the shallows with my motor in the kayak and watching them react and stuff, like, it sure seems like they're a little bit spooky in the shallows. But today's going to be a real good test because he made a lot of noise right here in front of us. And he come from this direction, he went behind us, so he's potentially spooked every fish in this area. Be a good test. Today though is kind of, And you can't really formulate an opinion based on one trip per se. But I feel like today has been kind of what I expected, that we would catch, if we caught fish at all in here, which I wasn't sure we would, time of year and all, but if we did catch them, I thought we would catch fish on both rigs, and we have. So we've caught so many catfish, it's been hard for me to keep track of the few carp that we've got, which ones they've hit, but still, we've caught enough fish on both rigs to lead me to believe that both will work just fine, that one's not going to outperform the other. Maybe a certain time of year, maybe it would, but I mean, in a place like this where our baits are so close together, I feel like it's a pretty good way to test two baits side by side. Like if we were in a bigger area and we had a lot more distance between our baits, well, if one's getting hit and the other ain't, it could just be the position of that one bait that's getting hit. You know what I mean? Like there could just be more fish. If you cast out opposite sides in a bigger area, there could just be more fish on the side that you're casting to. I'm fascinated with carp fishing from the perspective of them being so plentiful, pretty much everywhere around me anyway. There's a lot of carp. The size of the fish you can catch from smaller creeks like this, I'm fascinated by it. And I guess because I haven't caught enough carp yet to ruin it for me. You take catfishing, for instance. And I remember this when I started. And I started catfishing early 2000s. I don't remember the exact year, but I was bass fishing before that. And I got interested in catfishing. I went to a local tackle shop and they had this picture board with like local people would, back in those days, as Polaroids, you'd put a picture of your catch up on that board. And you see these big cats that were caught in my area there. I'm like, man, I want to catch one of the big cats. And I went out and I started catfishing. And I made all the mistakes that everybody makes in the beginning. You know, I'm using chicken livers, stink baits, inappropriate size tackle. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Fishing random places and stuff. Like, I didn't know how to target catfish. Didn't know a damn thing. And for the most part, I wasn't doing any good. If I did catch fish, it would be smaller fish like we've caught today. But even them, I wasn't catching very many. So again, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. But I remember this vividly. I got my first, quote, big catfish. I was at Fort Loudon Dam, above the dam, on the lakeside. I had used a piece of bluegill. I mean, I was right there behind the dam. And I caught my biggest catfish in my life to that point. And you know, looking at it now, my huge catfish I caught, it was probably 15 pounds, maybe 20 pounds. I mean, what I would consider a fun sizer now. But at the time, not only the biggest catfish I'd ever caught, but it was the biggest fish I'd ever caught in my life. And I was so excited. I was so proud of that thing. And I remember thinking this. It was like, if I could ever get to where I could catch that size of fish consistently, I would be content. Like, I would be so happy. Like, that would be it for me. And I pretty much did give up bass fishing for the most part after that. Like, after I got that big fish, the fun size, we're looking back on it now, but at the time, my personal best. like that sealed it for me, man. Like I was all in on catfish at that point. And as time went on, I trial and error, got better, and made mistakes, learned, and got things dialed in to the point where I got to where I could kind of consistently go out and catch fish and was getting bigger fish more consistently. Over the course of time, something changed a bit. Where in the beginning, I was thinking, man, if I could just get to where I could catch fish like this all the time, like I'd be so happy. I still am happy when I catch a fun size or a 15-pounder, 20-pounder. Like that's still fun, but it doesn't trip my trigger the way it used to. You know what I mean? Like once you've caught a bunch that size, it takes a little bit bigger fish to reach the same level of excitement as you got before. Then you catch a bunch those size, and now you got to go even bigger. It's like the drug addict, right? Like they say the first time they try some drug and get high, it don't take very much. But as their body gets acclimated to it, then it takes more and more and more to achieve the same high. And it's the same way with fishing as far as the size of the fish goes. And eventually you get to a point where you can't break that PB anymore. It gets hard. Like my PB, which I didn't weigh it, but I mean, I could just look at it and tell it was my biggest ever. I caught it in 2019. I think it was 2018 or 2019. So 5 to 6 years ago. Now I've caught some big fish since then, but you don't break that every day. And so I'm kind of at that point now with carp, right? Where it's like, I can come out here and I can catch these 5 to 10 pound fish. And I'm still at a point where I can enjoy it. And each one of them, every time that rod goes over, I get that same excitement as I got on the first 5 to 10 pound carp. But I worry over the course of time if I will become kind of, what's the word? I'm not immune, but like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like over the course of time, the 5 to 10 pound carp won't excite me as much. And it'll take bigger and bigger fish to kind of get me there. That's what I kind of worry about. But I'm still early enough on in this, and I've done it, and I think I've done a pretty good job at this point. Like there's been times where I really, like I get in a mood for carp, and like I just want to go carp fishing all week, but I restrain myself. And I don't, because I don't want to overdo it, because I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this feeling. And so, yeah, I think you know what I'm trying. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining things. I'm not getting my words out properly, but I think you kind of know where I'm going, what I'm trying to explain. But catfishing, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like catfishing. I still really enjoy it. But it takes a bigger fish now to really get me super excited, or a really good bite. Or I have to have taken a break from it for a few days and then go back out. But if I'm fishing 3 or 4 days in a row, catfishing 3 or 4 days in a row, by that second, third, fourth day, like if I'm not catching big fish, then I'm like, okay, it's fun, but it's not like, you know what I mean? Like it loses a little bit. So I think that's why it's important, whether you're talking about fishing or anything in life that has an end result. Like the end result we're trying to achieve today, we're trying to catch carp or buffalo, right? If you're going out catfishing, if I'm going out catfishing, I'm trying to catch the biggest catfish possible. That's the end result. I think it's important that whatever you're doing, whatever that end result is, you have to enjoy the process that it takes to achieve that end result. If you're just strictly focused on the end result and you don't like what you're having to do to get it, boy, it's tough to stick with it. It's tough to stick with it. It's tough to log the hours. And when it comes to, you take catfishing for instance, most of my videos, I'm suspend fishing. I'm anchored down or I'm spot locked on a spot and I'm suspending baits right off the bottom. I do that. Oftentimes it's not the best technique to do, but I do it because that's what I love to do. That's the most fun. I enjoy the process of that. You coming out here today in this place, are we catching, am I set up today in a place that's going to have us the chance at the biggest carp possible? Probably not. I should be out toward the main channel, maybe toward the creek mouth here. Would probably be better odds for maybe bigger fish. But the process, just being back here, especially in this stretch of the creek where you got all this grass and it's just these overhanging trees, like it's just beautiful back here, minus the boat coming through a little while ago. Like it's beautiful. I enjoy being back here, the process of this, I enjoy. If I was sitting out there on the main channel, there was a fish coming up right there in front of our lines. If I was sitting out on the main channel getting pounded with boat wake today from the Vol Navy people going back downriver, I don't know that I would be having as much fun. I wouldn't be enjoying the process. So I think there's a balance there you got to find where you're enjoying the process, but yet can still have a chance at getting the result that you're hoping to achieve. I've butchered everything I'm trying to say, but I think you get the premise of what I'm going on there. Like you gotta like what you're doing. You ideally, the end result when you do catch that big fish would just be the icing on the cake. But you still want to enjoy the cake itself. I've butchered that whole thing, but I think you get my point. And I hope I don't get to a point where I lose this enjoyment with carp of the size that we've got today. I hope I don't get to a point where I'm so fixated on catching the biggest carp possible that I just don't come fish a place like this anymore. Because I think that, well, maybe somewhere else I would have a chance at a bigger one. I want to still come to places like this and enjoy them. And I hope next time we come we don't see that guy again. Nice guy, he seemed like a nice guy, he's a very friendly fellow. He slowed down long enough for me to get my lines in versus running over them. That was nice of him. A lot of other boaters probably wouldn't have done that. But I hope we never see anybody back here ever again. This place is almost, it's like it's been deflowered a little bit now that I know other people are back here. But you know what though? If that guy's got that pontoon boat, unless somewhere back in this creek he's got a boat ramp built in, like if he's parking that thing in the creek, by damn ain't nobody else getting by. Because I mean, I know back here part of this creek is more narrow than this right here. I don't know how the hell he does it. And I fished far enough back up in here that I ain't seen no houses. Of course, he didn't say how far his house was away from the creek. Maybe he leaves the boat parked down there and walks up a ways or something. Hell, I don't know. I just know part of me on the inside, when I seen that boat coming, part of me died on the inside today. Part of me died because I never see anybody out here. I even talked early on how we wasn't going to see anybody. It's going to be a busy boat traffic day out there on the main channel. We weren't gonna see anybody back here, and I'll be damned if we didn't see somebody. It didn't take 2 hours to see somebody. Or 3, how long have we been doing this now? Yeah, we're over 3 hours. It don't feel like it's been that long. I guess I jinxed it. I conjured it up. Anytime you say something never happens, it happens. Like me saying I wasn't ever going to buy a kayak trailer. Here I have. I bought a kayak trailer. I think I'm going to like it. I don't know if I'm going to like the kayak just because I like fishing in a smaller platform. But the trailer, that's going to solve a real problem for me. I mean, I can't tell you through the years how many times in the winter when it's real cold, I have accidentally stepped off a little too deep in the water with my boot and get all that water down in there. And it don't happen when you get back at the end of the day. It happens right there when you're about to launch. So then you got cold, wet feet all day. That's when it always happens. But I think we're going to have a easier time getting in and out with that trailer. Now, some of the places that I launch at, kind of like some backwoods areas, some of those places might be a little tighter to turn around in with the longer trailer. But I think the sacrifice on that is going to be worthwhile for what I'm going to gain. The kayak itself, we'll see. The speed will certainly help me in tournament situations. It'll expand my range for filming videos in different places, accessing part of the rivers that I can't normally get to. But just the enjoyment of fishing off of that platform, I think it's going to be so stable. I think it's going to take a little bit away from it. I've thought about taking that motor and sticking it on this kayak, but I would have to redo the mount up there because the new motor's not going to fit on that same mounting plate that this one does. And so, that middle rod got bumped. So I think I'm just going to wait. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from potentially getting this new kayak. So I hate to go to all the trouble of taking that mount off and putting something else on to be able to put this motor on when I can just put the new motor on the new kayak here in a couple weeks. I mean, this motor here works fine. I definitely don't want to tear it up though, and I done got it sold. Yeah, the other fella in the tournament club there, he's going to buy the motor and a battery. I tried selling him the whole kayak setup. This would be a big upgrade over what he currently has. But I think he's going to get that Wilderness Systems kayak. They launched it. Maybe it's a prototype, I don't know. But they talked about it at ICAST there back in July, but it's not coming out and it's not hitting the market until next spring. But I think he wants to get it. I looked at, I didn't say I looked at it, I watched the videos on that kayak. And I wasn't impressed with it, what I saw. Maybe I'll change my mind when I see one in person. But I didn't really care for the layout of it all that much. I think the Bonafide's a little better on layout. I do have some concerns for the Bonafide. The weight is the biggest one. It's a very heavy kayak. The sides of the kayak go at an angle, like it comes straight and then goes at an angle. And so when we're laying our tournament measuring boards across, I may have to rig up something there so that that board lays flat. We'll see. We'll see if I can either do that or lay that board across one of the other flat areas. I'm not sure, it's until you get in it, I don't know where my feet's gonna sit or how I'm gonna have that seat positioned. So it's one of those things again, and unless you can demo the thing and get some seat time, it's hard to visualize how you're gonna rig the thing out. But I'm definitely not gonna get to demo the Bonafide. I'll have to take a chance on it. But I'm gonna feel around on it, just make sure, because it's a new model. Like this is their first run of these kayaks, and I've seen it, you've seen it, we've all seen it so many times. Not just kayaks. Pick any product out there. The first batch oftentimes has problems. Things that the engineers just didn't see people in the real world doing. You have to get a product out to the masses to kind of have an idea of what problems you're going to have. And then over time, second, third, fourth generation of a product, they get the kinks worked out and it's a lot better. This one here going to be product number one, buddy. I'm worried that it might have some issues. I hope it don't, but I'm worried we might. Look at this, we gotta look at the current. It's flowing back in this creek again. I'm pretty sure, I mentioned this another time I fished this creek and this happened. I'm pretty sure at the dam, they're releasing water. They're doing something up there to probably let a barge go through the lock of the dam. And so water will come this way for a few minutes. I'm assuming as they let a barge out, they're lowering that barge down the lock. All that water is coming with it. So you get a surge of water going this way. And then when they close the lock, all this water, it goes back down, back out the creek. But it's going to put some slack in it's already put slack in this front left rod up here. Our bite's definitely slowed since the boat come through. Oh, I know we got that catfish right afterwards, but does it not seem to you like the bite really slowed down after he come through? I'm gonna blame him anyway. Nice guy, but I think he's messed up our bite. He's lost his football too. Here comes his football. The old pigskin, here it comes. Daphne may be about to get a new toy. It floats over here close to me. I'll snatch it with a net. Daphne don't hardly play with football anymore. She likes her Frisbee. We play Frisbee every day. We play bicycle every day. That's how she gets her exercise. But the football, it was a phase with her. I'm gonna take her somewhere today. She's kind of been stuck at home lately. We've had all that work being done and whatnot, so she's been in the house a lot. I'm gonna take her out this afternoon and take her to a park somewhere, let her sniff on some new smells. I've been putting some stuff together at my house. I mentioned there, I think the last video I'd ordered a desk, and I said I wasn't going to order any more furniture on Amazon, but by gosh I did. I ordered a desk and it went together fairly easily. It took about an hour, but it went together pretty smoothly. But I couldn't find, I need a place to put my printer, like a printer stand. And I couldn't find anything at a local. I went to Office Max. I got me a desk chair, pretty nice chair, already assembled. I had to buy the display model because they didn't have any more of that color. But it was already assembled, but I couldn't find a stand. So I had to order another one. It's supposed to be arriving today. So my afternoon plans, I'm gonna put that together. and take Daphne on an adventure as this log coming the wrong way has caught her line. All this debris. I hit a couple logs coming up through here this morning. That's probably what I hit. Now it's back here on us. I hope it don't catch our... Boy, the flow's really coming in. Like it's really, they're moving some water. Like they're pumping water through. The creek, again, it normally flows this way. Now all the water's coming this way. I almost hate to cast this back out right now. Normally it don't last long. It could just last a few minutes and then it comes back down the other way. Oh, my other line got caught there. Dadgummit. We were having such a good morning, y'all. We were having such a great time. We were catching a bunch of fish. We had the place to ourselves. Next thing you know, here comes old Pontoon Man. Our bites died. Now the water's going the wrong way. We got this line over here that's got drug halfway to China by a stick flowing the wrong direction in the creek. Well, thankfully our pack bait and our worm's still on it. Most of it anyway. Throw it back out over there. Hope that other one didn't get caught back there too with some debris. That football, man, you can see there, I mean, they're moving some water. That football's all the way back there now. Did that line get hit or did something float by and hit the line? I don't know. I'm pretty sure, though, it has something to do with them letting water in and out of the locks to let barges and stuff go through. This fun fact about me, I've never gone through the lock system at the dams before. Oh, that rod got hit, I think. I think that was a fish. I don't think that was a piece of debris. What have we done here with this thing? There we go. Boy, we've got this thing all... So how you all get these things tangled up, I'll never know. Fishing with you all is like fishing with kids, the amount of tangles we get. Okay. Let's stick us some more. This one was our soybean meal rod, so we'll put more of that on there. Get us another worm. Oh. Okay, all right. Got another fish here. I think it's probably a cat though. Well, he just come off, so we'll never know 100% sure, but it seemed like a cat the way he was hitting it. Get this one out, back out here now. It's slowing down now. It'll start going back the other way here in a minute. All that debris that went through, we'll be dodging it coming the other way in a minute. Want to catch me a buffalo, man. This has been another trip where we've been skunked on the buffalo. And I know that one fella said he's a buffalo expert apparently in my comment box, but he said them buffalo mostly out there in the deeper, cooler water in the main channel. Maybe they are, but they ain't all out there. There's some of them back here in these backwaters. And I ain't catching a nary one. I think I'm gonna put panko back on this one. I was a little concerned we might run out of panko, but for no longer than I'm gonna fish, I'm probably gonna give it another half hour or so here. Let's go ahead and burn through it. And we know this will stick to the feeder a little better. I hear a bald eagle over there, somewhere near us. I saw some ospreys this morning coming in here, but I ain't seen no eagles yet. But there's one nearby because he's close. I've been watching, speaking of birds, I've been watching some more Brandon's stuff there. Brandon Hunter's his name. He's got a YouTube channel called Fins and Talons. He fishes our tournaments, kayak catfishing tournaments. He lives up in Ohio. And he is a falconer, meaning he goes out and catches birds of prey, trains them to hunt, and tames them and stuff. Now he's like an actual falconer. He's been through the apprenticeship. He's got the training, the skills, like he's able to do it. And so he's captured, I've been watching his series, how he goes about looking for birds, how he traps them, how he trains them. Fascinating stuff. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. But he's got him a red-tailed hawk right now. There was a buffalo right there. Speak of the devil, I just saw him come up. I was looking that way. Another one of them damn buffalo we can't catch. But he's got him a red-tailed hawk he's working on training. It's fascinating stuff. They're amazing birds. He had the best analogy, though, for these hawks that I've heard yet. He said they're like a rattlesnake with feathers. He said them birds will never have feelings for you. They see you, you may be able to tame them. They may tolerate you because they'll see you as no threat to them, somebody that's going to feed them. But they will never have feelings for you. And at some point in time, they're probably going to run off on you, you can develop feelings for the bird, almost like a pet, but it's never going to reciprocate. I thought that's a pretty good way of looking at a wild creature like that, a rattlesnake with feathers. It's fascinating stuff though, man. Watching them bird. I've watched some other falconer videos. I told Brandon, I messaged him a couple weeks ago now, and I told him, I was like, man, keep doing what you're doing, because I think you're rocking it, man. I think you're crushing it. His videos, he's a really good, his channel name is Fins and Talons. And he's only got a few hundred subscribers right now. But I told him, I was like, man, stick with it. Keep doing what you're doing. I said, I find your videos very entertaining. I find them very educational. I've watched some other falconer videos as he's got me going down that rabbit hole. And some of these other falconer videos, I mean, even videos that have gotten a lot of views, some of the bigger falconer channels, like, they get good video footage of the birds flying and hunting and stuff. Like, they're real good at that. But I haven't seen a falconer channel yet that can talk. Like where the person on the channel can communicate well. Like, tell me what it is you're doing. Tell me why you're doing what you're doing. What is your thought process? Like, I want to hear all this stuff because I want to learn. I don't want to just watch your bird hunt. I want to know the rationale, the why behind it. And I told Brandon, I was like, man, and he's a cop. That's what he's in real life. It's his real life job. He's a cop. And so he's used to having to talk to people and communicate with people and teach and explain things. I mean, as a cop, I mean, half his day is spent interacting with people and explaining things to them and explaining it in such a way that someone who is maybe ignorant, completely ignorant on the topic, or maybe they're just operating on a lesser IQ potentially. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, some people, you have to be able to communicate as a cop. Now, I'm not a cop or anything, but, you know, listen to me talk like I know something here. I would think to be successful as a cop, you would have to be able to communicate to people and explain things to people who have all different educational backgrounds. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to effectively communicate in such a way that people, regardless of their IQ level, can understand. That is a talent, folks. That is not something that most people have the ability to do right out the womb when they're born. Like, that's something that's a skill that's developed over time. And Brandon has that skill. And because he has that, and because everybody else in the falconry genre, at least the videos I've watched anyway, they don't have that. I'm like, Brandon, I think you've got a real opportunity to really have your channel blow up and really take off. Like, I could see him being like one of the top handful of channels in that genre in the next year or two, because his videos now, they're good. They're really good. I mean, I find them entertaining and educational. But he's still new at this. Like, to this point now, I think he's put out less than 10 total videos. So the videos he's putting out now, even though they're really good, they're probably going to be the worst videos he puts out, because he's going to continue to get better at it as he goes along. So I'm like, man, he's got a lot of potential. I think he could really make it on YouTube. I think he's somebody that really has a chance. Is this rod here got a little tap? And so I'm optimistic for him if he sticks with it, and I think he will. He seems to be putting out like one video a week. Of course, he's a cop. He's got full-time commitments. He's got a wife, and so he's got obligations. But he's putting out one video a week right now, and the quality's very good, and I think it's going to continue to get better over time. And I could see him being somebody, because he has such a way of talking and explaining things that I think if he gets in front of some people that maybe aren't interested in falconry, or maybe they don't know they're interested in it, but just his demeanor, just me personally here, if somebody's passionate about something and they're good at explaining something, I can listen to them talk about anything. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to a TED Talk. I don't even know if they still do TED Talks, but they used to have these they were called TED Talks. And people who were an expert in some whatever, I mean, it could be anything, completely random, would have these conferences, and they would get up and speak for 20 minutes to an hour about whatever it is they were knowledgeable about. I've listened to all kinds of TED Talks about stuff I have zero interest in, but the speaker themselves were captivating enough to keep my attention. And so if a person is good at something and they're passionate about it and they can explain themselves well, I can listen to you talk just about anything. And Brandon seems to have that ability, especially when it comes to this falconry stuff. So, and it helps, of course, that I'm interested in it. But I think he's got a lot of potential. Again, check him out there. Fins and Talons is the channel name. And, you know, I think you'll enjoy it. But he's training a bird right now, a red-tailed hawk. And it's a pretty cool looking bird. And he's got that thing, the video, again, by the time you're seeing this, he's probably had a couple more videos come out since then. But in the video I just watched, he was getting that bird to trust him and getting the bird to go from the perch to voluntarily jump to his glove to get a bite of food. And he said that's the big step with those birds. He said that's oftentimes one of the hardest steps to accomplish, is getting that bird to trust you enough to come to you to take that food. And so he seems to be making pretty good progress with that bird. And I'm excited to see that thing in action when he gets it fully tamed and trained and everything. He wants me to do it. And I've got hawks around my house. I've heard them, seen them. But I don't think, knowing me, I don't think I would put the time in needed to properly train the bird. I don't think I would finish the apprenticeship, honestly, because it's a 2-year apprenticeship to become a falconer. That's a long time. That's a big commitment. Our line. Look at our line. Got it. I think this might be another cat. I think we got another cat here. I saw a buffalo a little while ago. There's definitely one buffalo in here, folks. I saw him come up. That's another cat here. We ain't got a carp since that boat went by. I have to believe that outboard spooked them carp. I have to believe it. This fish here, he's got him a mouthful of salad in addition to that hook. He's picked up some leaves okay, they're gone now. He spit his salad out. I should have brought him some tomatoes today. I got a bunch of tomatoes I need to do something with. My garden's still producing. It's still going strong. I could have brought you a tomato today, fish, or some peppers. Let's see where that hook's at. Right in the bottom lip. Right there in the bottom lip, coming back out. Give me that thing back, fish. There we go. Oh, back rod. Back rod. Let's get rid of our cat. Could this be a carp? I think this is going to be a carp. We finally got one here. If y'all can keep him hooked up. Oh, y'all, here it is. We got us a buffalo. I'll be damned. I've been on a slump several trips ever since we started using that soybean meal. I've been fishless on the buffalo. But you know what? That last time we baited up, I threw out the panko. This one didn't even hit the damn soybean meal. I started using the soybean meal because everybody told me that's what you had to do for buffalo. Now I'll be damned. We finally get one. Oh, he's acting a fool right there. I finally get us one, and I'll be damned if it ain't on the panko. This makes he ain't very big, folks, but this makes my day. I have wanted to catch a buffalo so bad lately, and just haven't been able to do it. And we finally got us. I saw him a little while ago. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but I saw him come up over there in front of our other baits. And ironically, he was over there by our soybean meal line. That's where I saw him come up at. This is actually a bigger fish than I thought initially when I saw him. They always want to act a fool when you get them in here. Oh, there we go. There's our other line. There's our other line. Hold on, buffalo. I got to leave you setting. I got to leave you setting, buffalo. We got a friend on. That's actually a pretty nice buffalo right there. I didn't think he was that big when I first got a look at him. He's actually going to be worth holding up front camera. We don't have a line in the water right now. The other one's out. We had the catfish and the buffalo and whatever this turns out to be. He feels like he's in something. Okay, there he comes. He is in something. We got a stick We've got a stick and a fish. Do we still have the fish, or do we just have the stick now? The fish come off, now we just got the stick. Dadgummit. Okay, I'll leave that set in a minute while we get our buffalo tended to. Look at that, y'all. We got one. That makes me happy, man. I've been the last few weeks, the last few trips out, like, the whole point of what we've been trying was to catch more buffalo, and we ain't caught any. Quit, fish, quit. He's out of control. You're out of control, buffalo. Well, he's throw our plastic corn off. It's gone. He said we didn't need that plastic corn. He said we needed a worm and some panko, apparently. What are the odds? We've been using that soybean meal. The last several trips out, can't buy a buffalo. I had panko back here on this one, and we get him. That's awesome. You've made me so happy today, buffalo. You really have. You don't know what you've done for me today. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Because, you know, you go out and we got a log right here behind us. Drifted in, the current's going back this way now. You go out several trips and you're really hoping to get a buffalo and you don't get any, you kind of start to feel like a failure, you know? Like, what more do I need to do? I'm trying all the stuff that everybody tells me to do and can't get them. Yes, y'all. That's good news. That's really, really good news. Let's get some lines, but we got nothing out right now. Nothing, man. Every line we have is sitting right here in the floor of the kayak. Good, that log's going by right there. I'm gonna put the panko back out. Okay. One thing too we've seen for sure is the panko does take longer to fall off the feeders than the soybean meal. So I guess if you were wanting it to fall off the feeder a little quicker, then the soybean meal would be the way to go. If you wanted it, maybe you were fishing a little deeper water and you needed the pack bait to obviously stay on the feeder till it got to the bottom, then the breadcrumbs might be the way to go for that scenario. Shallow water, it really don't matter, but deeper water, I could see it being a big factor. I think that soybean meal, with how easily it comes off, if we were fishing somewhere 15 feet deep or deeper, I don't know that there'd be any pack bait left on the feeder by the time it got to the bottom. Boy, that fish here, he got us all wrapped around this stick, didn't he? Let's do the other rod first. That way we can, since it's still here and functional, I don't have any plastic bait on it, but that's okay. All we need is the worm anyhow. Well, folks, how long's it been since that boat come through? Probably, what, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? It's been a while since that boat come through, and we had that one catfish right away, but otherwise we couldn't get a bite for a while. Now, a little time's passed, maybe they're coming back through. I just have to believe it played a role in spooking them fish. We've had a good day regardless. We're gonna have fun on our adventures together regardless of exterior problems that we can't control. Oh, look at here now. I've got us a leaf on here, just like that. I'm gonna cast this one out here in front of us. We gotta work, we gotta do some work on this one on the left. Be able to get it functional here after it's been wrapped around this tree limb. That was a smart fish to find this branch to get into to work himself free. Yeah, he done a good job with it too, didn't he? There it come. Tell you what, let's do too. Let's throw that over there. Boy, it can't be drifting down in front of us again. Boy, I about flipped us out here when that pole give. Did you see that, the kayak man? When I went to lean over, one of my poles give. All right, this one here, let's try some more soybean meal in this. So we'll have 2 panko, 1 soybean meal. We'll throw this one off behind us. I'll be damned. We finally get a buffalo and it's on the panko. I think it's the worm more than anything. That's what I think's most important. I caught more of the buffalo that I have caught have been caught on the worms than anything else. Okay. Well, my day's made, y'all. That one buffalo, and it was a pretty good size. I mean, it ain't no monster, but I mean, pretty good quality buffalo. That's made my day. Here comes Daphne's ball again, floating back down the creek now. Now that the water's going back the right direction. Boy, our battery's about dead. I'm gonna fish another 30 minutes to an hour probably. Since we're getting some more, I was gonna leave, but since we're getting bit again, I may stick around a little longer, but I don't think our battery is gonna allow us to fish together much longer. It's about dead. Look at this, I done got that damn tree over there. Okay. All right. Crisis averted there. Yeah, our battery ain't gonna allow us to fish together much longer, but I'm probably gonna go into 30 minutes to an hour. See if I get another buffalo, maybe some more carp. Now that they're kind of working back through. That really makes my day, folks. I don't know why I have such a fascination with buffalo, but I do. I mean, they don't fight like a carp does. Even the biggest buffalo I caught, now I got the video on my channel, my personal best buffalo, it's huge. I thought it was a channel cat at first, the way it fought. Until I saw it and I was like, oh wow, that's a huge fish. So they're not the best fighters, but there's just something about them I find interesting. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'm really fascinated with the things. I want to get better at fishing for them. I went on that trip in Texas with that guide who's like world renowned. We didn't do any good down there. While I was on the trip with him, 3 days, we didn't do worth a flip, and I didn't come home with a lot of confidence. I'd hoped to go down there, learn a lot, catch some fish, and be able to come home and apply it, but I didn't come home with much confidence in what I had learned. He was catching buffalo on plastic baits, looked like a little dumbbell. He used white mostly, And he'd have pack bait on a feeder, and we fished the same spot. It was off of a creek, kind of a flat area off of a creek, just a few feet deep. We fished there for 3 days, and I think I had Josh from Catfish Baits, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. Him and his son was down there, and they both got a buffalo. I never got my turn at one. Got a big carp, a million channel cats. But yeah, I just didn't come home with a great deal of confidence after spending 3 days with a world-renowned professional and couldn't catch them. What we got here? Is this another channel cat? We've got another channel here. On the soybean meal rod. Is it safe to say with the fish that we've caught, I mean, we have caught, and maybe it's coincidence. Maybe we've just been right place, right time for them. But I mean, I do feel like we've caught a lot more catfish since I started using the soybean meal. Even today, most of the cats that we've caught have been on the soybean meal rod. This one here, we'd cast out, we just had soybean meal on. That was a blue right there. So maybe there is something to the soybean meal and catfish. Maybe it's the protein or the scent, I don't know. But there's definitely something to that, I think. But, you know, if you wanted to try this out in the main channel there for catfish as like a scent or something, an attractant, again, good luck getting it down to the bottom. You couldn't put it on a feeder and get it down 50, 60 feet because it'd all be off the feeder by the time it got there. I guess you could put it in something. Put it in a mesh bag or something. I don't know, pantyhose maybe. The way it would leach out a little bit slower, possibly. But either way, y'all, man, we've had a good day numbers-wise. I've had a good, other than seeing the boat, I mean, it's been a relaxing, peaceful morning out here with us having the place to ourselves. I think this spot is one of the coolest places I fish. Just from how it looks, the fact that we have some opportunities to catch the size of the fish we do here, like I really like this place. That other fella, he must like it so much he moved here. Me and him, well, apparently the only two people that know about this. I hope it stays that way. But yeah, man. Been a good day. I'll get out there tomorrow, try to catch us some bait. Maybe we finally go to Alabama after that. We'll see about weather and all, and see if I can get bait first and then check a weather forecast, see what that's looking like. Yeah, folks, I'm in the red on the battery here. Battery ain't gonna last much longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn you all off here now, I reckon, but I'm gonna fish I'll probably give another half hour now here, or maybe longer, and see if I get anything else, because they seem to be coming back in here now, turning on a little bit. So I wouldn't mind catching another fish or two, maybe another buffalo if possible. But battery pack's dead. Now the battery in the camera's about dead. So me and you, I guess we're gonna part ways. But thanks for coming with me today on this adventure. Trying our little bait experiment here. I feel like it kind of went like I thought it would. Catching fish on both. But yeah, it's fun. I'm telling you folks, carp, buffalo, considered trash fish, but you can call me the trash man because I like them. They're a lot of fun, and I think if you give it a shot, I think you will too. But anyway, we'll get out there and try to get some bait tomorrow, and hopefully next video you see will hopefully be a catfish trip, either somewhere here in Tennessee or maybe, possibly, Alabama. Either way, we got to get ready for that tournament soon. But anyhow, folks, thanks for coming with me. I'll see you in the next one.